also he kind of runs a fucking multi-level marketing scheme, right?
Yeah, and that would fall under fraud, depending who you ask, but, it's fraudulent,
Yeah.
that's also not protected under free speech, just like how slander or defamation is.
Even if it doesn't, the fact that he targets young guys, even young boys, I've heard in some cases, basically scams them out of their money, my opinion, teaches them stupid things that are totally useless, and he kind of sells them ideas of achieving a physique, achieving wealth that is not achievable for most people at all. So giving them false hopes overall.
Well, actually, I would go as far as to say that he doesn't teach them anything within his MLM program. The main focus of his program, despite what he says on the poorly punctuated and miscapitalized page he has for it, he claims that he'll teach them how to trade crypto, how to do all these things. But in reality, the program mainly consists of people selling affiliations to one another, and it becomes multi-level when the whole incentive is to get somebody else and you're selling that affiliation code, and that's how you're actually making the money, not through the skills he's claiming to teach these young men that he's scamming. And with his camming site, he's also openly admitted that he utilizes teen girls, that he's flying into Romania to do this scam work and online prostitution, online brothel, if you will, and lying to these young men in order to manipulate them into giving them money by telling sob stories. He said this himself. And so that goes into sex trafficking too, under the technical definition. And I don't think it's healthy for young men, but also he has criminal behavior, and he's utilizing places like YouTube to platform that behavior and suck people into that program, and I don't think that it's covered by freedom of speech. Because in that case, we would have criminals everywhere, trafficking and trying to coerce children into becoming prostitutes and things like that. And I feel like we as a society agree that that's not good, and that's why we outlaw it.
Is the floor open?
Is Woke, any last thoughts before we go into the discussion?
Well, yeah, we're gonna make it a bit spicier because I do think he did say things that I personally, don't think should be considered protected speech at all. Most of his stuff that he says, I don't know, stuff women can't drive and all that, who cares? Say whatever you want, but the things about choke them, rape them, these kind of very violent things are no, that's at some point, things you say, they do have some kind of moral weight to them. I don't care if it's offensive or whatever, but when it gets to the point where it's raise the threat level, fear level, it's just too much. And legal consequences, no, but if people have to listen to you, no.
You got it. With that, we're going to jump into open conversation, folks. As mentioned, we have many more juicy debates coming up. You don't want to miss them. For example, at the bottom right of your screen, this is going to be a big one. Apostate Prophet returns this Friday, taking on Muslim apologists on whether or not Islam is harmful to the world. You don't want to miss it. Hit that subscribe button for more juicy debates like that one. But with that, thank you very much. Woke, Brittany, Tree, and Playing with Fire, the floor is all yours for that open dialogue.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Alex, just real quick. When you guys mentioned the MLM, have you ever seen anybody from his community complain or say that they were scammed?
I saw that, he went viral on TikTok due to his MLM clients, if you will, posting his TikToks, and so there's proof of that. Obviously, there's people in the program that's blatant proof of that. But
nobody said I got scammed. Nobody came and made a video and said I got scammed by Andrew Tate. He took my money and I got robbed. There's no guy who has said that, correct?
CoffeeZilla made a video on it and joined his program and proceeded to break down all of the things wrong with the program and why it's an MLM, or AKA pyramid scheme.
Okay.
So,
I agree with the pyramid scheme, but a fool
and Turkey Tom as well.
Yeah, but a fool and his money will surely part. If people want to give, just like when people want to give their money to OnlyFans, you know what I'm saying, or to the titty streamers on Twitch, nobody's making a big fuss about that, and men don't complain about giving money to those platforms. So I don't see any men getting upset or even saying that they got ripped off from Tate's MLM scheme. I totally agree with you, Brittany. It's a trash scheme, but it has willing participants. Go ahead.
Well, here's the
let me
difference.
jump in, because there's so much, with respect, there's so much false information nonsense that has been said.
Can I just address what she said really quick?
Sure,
Because
go
I don't
ahead.
want it to go on to the next point, then I can't address this. So the difference is between what you gave as an example, Tree, is that this is an MLM. This is different than like affiliate marketing or like giving to OnlyFans, although I don't support OnlyFans, but that's a different debate.
Okay.
But he basically is selling something that isn't a product. It's just multi-level marketing. So that doesn't qualify as just somebody buying something. That becomes a pyramid scheme. It becomes fraudulent. He's encouraging people to sign up under a paid affiliate code to recruit more people. And that's the basis of it. It wouldn't be if it were free affiliate codes, but it's not.
Okay, let me jump in on this. Very simple question: is MLM illegal? Is it illegal to have an MLM?
It can be considered fraudulent, but I'm not a lawyer.
MLM is not illegal. There's many businesses that we buy from their MLMs. There's nothing illegal about having an MLM. Furthermore, I think you're confused about the difference between an MLM and affiliate marketing. OnlyFans does exactly the same shit as Andrew Tate does. So basically, you as a content creator, you have an affiliate code. People buy through your affiliate code, and then they get credit. This is not technically a pyramid scheme. This is affiliate marketing, which is literally the most standard practice ever. Furthermore, even if it wasn't MLM, that wouldn't be illegal.
I do know about affiliate marketing, because if it were affiliate marketing, it would be the sign up codes would be free, but these people have to actually pay for the program, $49.99 a month, to get into the program in order to get those. So I would argue that it is an MLM, especially because you're recruiting people to sell it. And also, it's legal if they sell a product. He's not really selling a product. He's selling the MLM. He's selling like, hey, get more people to join, and you get from what they sign up on.
Yeah, the first month
You're misunderstanding.
Half,
So
and then after that you get 10%.
An MLM would be, okay, this is what would be an MLM. If he has his product, right, and he's recruiting people, and then those people recruit other people, and then they get a piece of what the person below them does.
Yeah, that's what he does.
That's not how it works. You don't get a piece.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. You don't get a piece of
That's what he does. It's on his site. What do you mean? This is what the people do. They sell to the next person to join. They make money off of it, 50%.
They do make money off of who they recruit with their affiliate.
Right. Okay, let me explain this again. You join Hustlers University. You get an affiliate code. First of all, the affiliate program was closed, and it's only like a small percentage. You get an affiliate code. You recruit someone, and then they go, you get part of that. But if that person under you recruits someone else, you don't get a piece of that. That person, you only get a piece.
Under his, you do.
No, you don't. You only get a piece.
Yes, you do. Okay. I mean, I can pull up receipts at some point, maybe after debate, but this is what happens.
I'd love to see those receipts, because Spencer Cornelia did a very detailed breakdown, who's someone who I trust and respect, who doesn't actually like Andrew Tate, and he literally said, yeah, this does not technically fall under an MLM. This is literally affiliate marketing. But
it's literally a pyramid scheme. There's the top, right, and then there's the bottom people, and the more you're recruiting people by selling product of, hey, here's the code, I paid to get this code, the more you climb up. That's literally like a pyramid scheme.
It doesn't. The way the pyramid scheme works is a person who's like on the second tier gets a piece of the person on the fourth tier. It doesn't work that way. There's only two tiers.
Which is what he does.
No, it's not. There's two tiers. There's him, and then there's the people that that join, and then they can recruit someone. But there's not like multiple tiers where people just get a piece of the pie each way of the way up. You're mistaken.
Yes, there is, and it was 50% in particular. That was a specific number.
Well, that's actually very standard in the internet marketing. But I would love to see the proof that
that's
it's
a
actually
pyramid scheme.
Okay. I would love to see. No, it's not. I have also affiliate program that I use. That doesn't make me a pyramid scheme.
Affiliate marketing isn't a pyramid scheme. This is separate from that. I'm saying this is not affiliate marketing. This is a pyramid scheme.
I'll explain this again. Pyramid implies that there's levels upon levels upon levels. There's no
Correct,
levels
and that
upon
applies
levels.
Here.
Okay, show me the proof.
I want to give Brittany a chance to respond. I'll give you a chance to respond, Brittany, but I also want to say, since Woke is back, I want to give Woke a chance to chime in here. Woke, I think we lost you, maybe a connection issue, but glad to have you back. No problem. Woke, if you have any thoughts that I'm not sure if you were able to hear while you were out. Otherwise, we'll kick it over to Brittany for her response, and then we'll give you a chance, Woke, to press against some of the things.
I also do want to comment on something Woke said when it's my turn.
No, Brittany can go ahead. I cut out completely.
Hold on. I do have a question. So getting back, because I don't want to argue about the minutia about whether it's an MLM or not. I kind of don't care. I don't see it as victim. So if there isn't a victim, I don't see a problem with it. And in reference to the product, when these men go to Twitch or since Brittany doesn't.
If you're able to use your mic, or I should say, pull your mic a little bit.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So if you go to Twitch, you have these women that give a online girlfriend experience. They talk to you. If you donate, they eat with you, and if they're eating, you eat with them. The men eat with them, and they give this online experience as if they're a girlfriend, especially if you donate. They're not getting anything in return. So I don't consider them victims. So I wanted to know what was the difference between the two. If there aren't any victims, it still goes to a fool and his money will surely part. If they want to give up their money for this affiliate program for Tate, I see that at the same level as them giving money to Twitch streamers.
Yeah, I want to echo what she said. There's absolutely no victim. There hasn't been any people that came out. The worst that you have is people saying, I joined and I didn't really find that much value in the service because it was like basic information I already knew. That happens with online courses all the time. It is not illegal to have a course that some people don't like, right? That's the first thing. But regardless of that, even though it's not pyramid scheme, even if it was an MLM, that still wouldn't make it illegal. There's been 0 criminal charges that have been pressed against him for the way he runs his business, and it's actually very standard. Now, going back to what I think, Woke, what you said something pretty radical. You said that he says rape them. So if you can show me evidence right now that he says that he directly said rape the girls, unless it's an extreme sarcastic joking matter, then I will right now change my position and go on your side.
I can't pull up any links, but I mean,
because it doesn't exist. That's the reason.
Really,
that's the reason.
Really, there isn't like plenty of content of his all over the place where he
He has never said rape the girls. That would be inciting violence, and then I would totally be on your team and saying he's directly inciting violence and crime. Well, let's deplatform him. That has never happened.
What was that? God. What was he talking about? Oh, if she's crying, then you smack her, choke her, throw her on the floor, and then rape her or some shit like that. The machete thing.
She accused him of cheating, and he's like, you just choke her, slap her, fuck her, then choke her some more. That's foul, actually.
Girls are into. Girls are into being choked. I don't know if you guys realize this. There's a lot of girls.
I'm sorry. If you choke me, I'll fucking put a goddamn 223 in your fucking head. You try to choke me. This whole thing, this is what's so dangerous about these red pillars, is that they see these women who have daddy issues and that have been groomed to be choked and throw against the wall and beat the fuck up, and they think that's what all women want. That is not all. Brittany would. I'm just gonna assume she does not like a man choking her, just like I would not want a man choking me.
Yeah, there's some people who are into BDSM, some people who are not. BDSM, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the BDSM community, but it is heavily based
I'm a retired professional dominer, so I know a lot about DNS.
Cool.
I know a lot about BDSM.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, and when I saw this video of him and that girl, I'm actually on his side. I can tell that was a DNS relationship. But what Tate does not do is he does not distinguish the difference between, hey, these are the girls who like it, and if you want to know if this is the kind of girls that like it, you have to ask. Don't just go up to a girl and just say, come here, bitch, and just start choking her. That's how you catch a case. You have to use the words, and he doesn't do that. He doesn't teach these boys the difference between consensual and non-consensual.
So he could communicate things better. Again, I'm not some Andrew Tate fanboy. I publicly disagreed with multiple things he said. Sure, that could have been worded better. But going back to what Woke was saying earlier, he has never said rape these girls. That has never happened. And if you can show me evidence of that, I'll switch sides right now. But you're not going to be able to.
Dude, that scenario he's describing, that is rapey, at least.
No, there's a big difference between a scenario that you think is rapey and him saying rape the girls.
he is absolutely not describing the scenario. It was like, oh yeah, she absolutely wants this. It's more like, oh, she's disobeying. You must treat her like this, like threaten her with the machete and all this stuff. Like
Your
I
exact
don't know
words
how you
were
can spin this. Like,
your exact words were he's saying rape them. Now you're changing your argument to say
no, because
well,
rape has an actual meaning behind it, right? You can define it with more words than just the word itself, right?
Okay, so then you probably want to revise your statement to saying instead of him saying rape them, there was a scenario in one of his videos that I found to be kind of
Yeah, where he described the situation that it would be considered rape. Yes.
Okay,
exactly that.
so you're kind of changing. Okay, what is the situation specifically verbatim that he described that you think is rapey?
The one that Tree literally just talked about. I don't know how you cannot like.
Well, she talked about two things. There's one that was that like video of him with a girl. She said that this looks like a BDSM type of situation. I have no way of
The machete one.
Okay, well, what exactly happened with the machete? Like, explain to me verbatim.
I can't have to paraphrase off the top of my head, but he says, you grab the machete if she's. I don't even remember if she wants to leave or refuse something or something. You grab the machete, you threaten her, you slap her in the face, you choke her, or you throw her to the ground, and then fuck, all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't see how you could possibly think that's not rape.
And how do you know that he's not kidding? Like, is it?
Because typically when people are making jokes, there's a context to it. We can tell when somebody's trying to be funny, right? Because we have brains that are capable of recognizing that a dude is not trying to be funny. He's just being genuine.
Well, that's how you interpreted it. The way I interpreted it was as humor. So this is kind of open to interpretation. Was
your kind of humor, right?
It's offensive humor. He's an offensive guy. It's offensive humor, right? But there's a big difference between him saying, "Hey guys, listen. It's important that we rape girls." That is completely unacceptable. And him making a joke that's probably in poor taste about, oh, this is what I would do for girls leaving, right? So we interpret that differently. Now, I think that if Andrew Tate was this rapist, that there would be at least one girl who would have accused him of rape by now.
Wait. I didn't say he was himself a rapist.
I'll give you a chance to respond, MH, and then, or I should say woke, and then I want to go over to Brittany. I think she has something to say. Go ahead,
so who goes first? Okay.
Oh no. I don't have anything else to say other than I didn't say he himself was a rapist. I don't see like based on that and as a character judgment, which that's something that's also permissible in courts. He doesn't seem to be the kind of guy that's actually joking about these things. All I hear is buddies of his, people who also sell their Bitcoin and crypto bullshit and whatever, are like, oh, well, he's such a nice guy in private and all this stuff. And then what's that, move to Romania? So because they have lax rape laws or whatever.
Again,
he also
women
had
are like dogs, and they should be
such blatant distortion of the facts. Okay, what actually happens was when he was living in England, he had a girl that he was doing some kind of like camp content with, and she wanted like a large bribe of money. He refused to give it to her. She went to the police. The case was completely dropped because it was asinine when it was investigated. And then he said, and again, he could have worded this better, I'm going to move to Romania because I feel like stupid shit like this is not going to happen there because their laws are more fair. That's the reason that he moved, not to so he can get away with
more fair.
girls. Yeah, so again, this is the problem when you get your news from secondhand sources, when you're watching people's reaction videos to something else instead of watching firsthand account of actually what he's saying. And believe me, I watched a shitload of his content. I know Andrew Tate somewhat well. Like, I have a personal relationship with him. Again, don't agree with a lot of things he says, but
wait, you said you weren't a fanboy. Now you're saying you're friends with him? What?
I'm friendly with him. Wait,
what?
Why do you have to be a fanboy? Do you have any friends that you're not a fanboy of?
The implication, it's the omission. You're just gonna throw that in there?
What
That's bias. You're like,
it?
I'm not. You're saying it to be like, oh, I'm not biased. I'm not an Andrew Tate fanboy. But then you're like, yeah, I'm friends with him though.
No,
what?
I have a professional relationship of him where he has always been cool and respectful towards me, and we have mutual friends who have nothing bad to say about him. I don't understand how like me having a personal relationship with someone makes me a fanboy.
No, but it makes you biased.
I don't think it makes me biased. I think it gives me a better perspective because I actually know him personally.
What? Yes, it does. He's your friend.
Yeah,
I would be biased to
I
my
also have a
friends.
lot of people who have professional relationships with, like for example, Myron from Fresh and Fit, who I've publicly called out countless times. If I think the evidence is there, I will happily call someone else.
Oh, also, I found the an article about the thing you guys were talking about earlier. So it says it's bang out the machete. This is the quote. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her by the neck. Shut up, bitch. He says in one video, acting out how he'd attack a woman if she accused him of cheating. Oh, sorry, if she accused him of cheating. In another, he describes throwing a woman's things out the window. In a third, he calls ex-girlfriend who accused him of hitting her, an allegation he denies, a dumb hoe.
Okay,
I
so
can link the article to
let's
the
go through
moderator.
Who's the article? Is it like Daily Beast or something like that?
It's from The Guardian.
Okay. Okay, let's go through these one by one. So the last one was throw her shit out the window if she what? If she cheats on him or something like that?
It says yeah, how he'd attack a woman if she accused him of cheating. He would grip her by the neck and bang out the machete, boom in her face, shut up, bitch. That's
Okay.
approximately
And
what it
then
says.
how do you know that this is not a clearly inappropriate joke?
You could say anything. So here's my answer to that. Would I think someone who has associations with the Romanian mafia is saying that in a joking way? The Romanian mafia, the same mafia that's running a sex trafficking ring and is one of the top 5 countries for human trafficking, including children. Context is a little important there, and The Guardian is a reputable news source, arguably. So.
I think pretty much most of the coverage that's been about people like Andrew Tate is usually biased. But okay, let's talk about the Romanian mafia thing because that was on my list of things to do. So can you show me your evidence, the fact that he promotes the Romanian mafia or that he works for them?
Yes, and also one other thing to address the thing earlier that you were saying about like, no, it's not an MLM. I found a screenshot from Ginks Esports TV. I went ahead
let's pull it
and yeah, I went ahead and gave it to Modern Day Debate if they want to pull it up. It's the Imgur link.
Yeah, let's pull it up and look at it together.
We could even more directly, Brittany, if you'd like, if you're able to, on the bottom center part of the Zoom window, just because I don't have my if I pull up too much stuff on this computer, it'll start to freeze the screen a little bit. If you look at the Zoom window on the bottom and in the middle, there's a green button that says share screen. It'll let you pick which window. So if you have the picture open, like you can actually share it on your side and it'll take up the whole screen so that the audience and everybody, including Playing with Fire and Tree and Woke, see it.
Okay, can you see that?
Yep, the audience
Okay.
can too.
There you go. It says right there, and they make 50% of the people they refer.
Okay. Let's
So that's MLM.
Okay, hang on. As an affiliate, you make 50% of anybody else you refer to the program. So Tate's, yep. So this actually proves my point. As an affiliate, you make 50% of everybody else you refer to the program. However, what you do not do is then make another 50% of the people at the bottom. There's not multiple levels. There's 2 levels. So
Yes, there is. The first one is the one where, well, there's Tate right at the top.
Yes.
Then there's one where they're paying for it. You have to pay to get an affiliate link. First off, if you even pay to get the affiliate, like you're having to pay for an affiliate code, that's automatically like MLM, right?
No.
You already have the 2 levels, that's already MLM. And then they referred someone else like, hey, if you do this, you'll make money. And then the actual thing making money is by referring people. And that's the actual quote unquote product. Is the
Right, but
product.
then
So yeah, it's
if
MLM.
that person at the bottom refers another person, that person who's on the second tier doesn't get a piece of that. The way pyramid schemes work is that it's just an permanent level of everyone just getting a piece of everything that's below them. So you might get like 10 commissions from the people below you, right? It's just a never-ending cycle like that. If there's a fixed thing where like, hey, Andrew Tate's at the top, right? And then he basically, someone joins his program and then they can refer using an affiliate code and then they get 50%, but the levels don't go further. That's not a pyramid scheme. That's just affiliate marketing. That is how affiliate marketing programs work. That is exactly how my business operates. So for example, someone joins my program, right? And they can refer someone else, right? And then that person will get, like some percentage. I think it's 10% of the person at the bottom, but it's not a never-ending cycle. It's just you can refer someone using affiliate point. This is very standard affiliate marketing. Now, the one thing that he's doing differently, which I guess is you can say is a questionable business tactic, but doesn't make it a pyramid scheme, is the fact that you have to pay to get an affiliate link. That is not really standard. But that does not make it a pyramid scheme. Furthermore, the affiliate program was actually closed weeks ago. So that issue has been resolved.
It meets the definition of pyramid scheme, and it meets the exact definition of what you had initially said. I feel like this is grasping to say it's not.
No.
And a pyramid scheme, everyone else acknowledges a pyramid scheme is basically what was already discussed, which is like, I mean, if we look up the Google definition, it says
the pyramid scheme is where there's just indefinite levels. It's just like one after the bottom, one after the bottom, one after the bottom. So it's just like unlimited levels. If there's just like these like 2 levels or something like that, that doesn't make it a pyramid scheme. That's the difference. That just makes it affiliate marketing program. And again,
no, it makes it a pyramid scheme. And here's the Google definition. I'll share my screen so you guys can see it. A form of investment illegal in the U.S. and elsewhere, in which each paying participant recruits 2 further participants, which returns are given to early participants using money, which qualifies because the people who are sending the paid affiliate link, which again, that premise alone, already a pyramid scheme. They're sending that affiliate code to someone else for them to pay for that.
Okay.
And they're making 50% of what they make. So that is a pyramid scheme.
Type in pyramid scheme versus affiliate marketing, or MLM versus affiliate marketing, and you can see that.
Can I just jump in real quick?
I just explained to you what affiliate marketing is, and
that's why I really want to die on this hill. Can we move on?
So we can move on. We can move on, but
this is not.
But so to answer the second thing you guys were talking about earlier, I think it was Tree who brought it up. So that aside of it being a pyramid scheme in most people's definition, he also is having ties with the mafia, which I do have the receipts for, and I will pull it up.
Okay, let's take a look at those.
And I would argue that if he's receiving money from this, he's using his platforms to receive money from this, and he's doing business with the mafia, he's essentially helping fund the mafia. He's helping them traffic kids and traffic women. They're a violent organization, and he himself says, "Oh yeah, Romania is very organized crime," and he admitted to doing business with them.
Can I see the receipts for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up something. Maybe
Okay, so we're gonna start off with the first one. There's let me count. 1, 2,
Alex, you
3.
You have seen a video where he talks about his experience when he came to Romania, and he came to the mafia and said, "Hey, I want to get in." And they said, "What do we need you for?" And then he said, "Good point." And he left, and he got the casinos, there was something else that he involved in. And he came back and said, "Hey, if you want to do this, this is what you need me for." And they decided to hire him. So he did. I'm just saying, this is true. He did say that he did have ties to the Romanian mafia and did work, get a cut in reference to.
Well, what I want to see is receipts of him promoting the mafia. Yeah, that's what was said in the intro statement. I want to see a receipt of him promoting the mafia. Yeah, promoting.
Yeah, I have it up. Does sharing the screen also share the audio?
It can. If you click share, and then before selecting which window you want to share, there should be on the bottom right a little box where you can select share audio to, or it says something to that effect.
Okay, I'm gonna do that right now. Share audio, share sound. Cool. All right, can you guys see it?
Okay.
Yep. Yes, I've just got to minimize it. Give me one sec because it's pretty zoomed in from the. Okay, it's a short. Let me.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. That works.
I'm pretty sure one of his MLM people posted it.
Ready for you.
He has a lot of them. All right, cool.
In a poor country. I live in Romania, which is technically poor. It's one of the poorest countries in Europe. The average wage is like $400 a month, but it's safe. in general, unless you piss off a big guy. The crime is very organized. There's no random crime. Organized crime keeps society functioning. Unorganized crime like London is wrong place, wrong time, get stabbed, take your watch. I know that a lot of the gangsters in certain towns in Romania keep the drugs out. Towns are drugs free. People try to sell drugs, they're the ones who die. So there's no drugs on the streets because their children go to school. So you have drug-free cities. American police can't get a city drug-free, but the mafia will. Drug-free. Because if they catch anyone fucking selling that shit, they're fucking disappearing. I live in a poor country.
So this is again such a miscategorization. That's not him promoting the Romanian mafia. That's him making observations.
He's saying, look at all the positive things they're doing. And also, let me play the second clip too, because it does matter.
Before you do that, can I just comment on this? This is him saying, hey, this is what I've observed living in a country that has strong organized crime and that's there less drug and more safety. And he does have a point. You can go to a city like, I don't know, like somewhere like in the South America that has a lot of disorganized, decentralized crime, and it's a lot more risky because they're way more likely to attack a random person over $20 versus when you have a country that's like heavily dominated by organized crime, they don't fuck with people who don't fuck with them. So from the point of an average person who's living in that country, it is probably safer to be in that country. Like, I agree with that point, but it doesn't mean he's promoting the mafia.
So I think he basically is saying, look at all these positive things they're doing. And there is a second clip that I'm going to play to kind of give a little more context to that too. It's not just that one. It's not just in a vacuum. So hold on. I don't know if it shared the audio that time. Share screen, share sound. All right, cool. All right, we good to play it?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So this is him saying that he has done business with the Romanian mafia, which again, this organized crime that is the same one where they traffic children, they traffic girls, and they're one of the top 5 countries to do so.
I heard them say something like they turn over like 18 million a day or something ridiculous money, these 3 brothers, right? And I went to them and I said, because they're sponsoring the show, I said, look guys, I want to open some casinos, I want to get involved.
He went to the mafia.
And they kind of looked at me, typical Eastern European mafia. Imagine fat, bald, cigar, exactly like you'd imagine them to be. And they're like, why do we need you? Like, if I want to open a location, I send a picture in a WhatsApp group of a building, and 2 weeks later, there's a location. What do I need you for? I was like, okay, valid point. Well, I'm going to find a reason for you to need me. Right?
Okay.
I overheard them say something like that.
Okay, so again, another thing. So if you live in a third world country or second world country, if certain types of industries like casinos, you do need to have permission from the mafia. If you don't get that, they will kill you. My girlfriend's parents are from Colombia. Right, and her dad got murdered for having a lottery business that was not authorized with the Colombian cartel.
So you're supporting having to do negotiations with the mafia? I mean, in the video it says they were sponsoring it. Like, that means all the money he's getting from all these people, including people who are underage, including the young men that he's scamming, all of his YouTube money, all these platforms he's using to get that money, he's using it to do business with the Romanian mafia, a child trafficking ring.
There's a difference between doing business with someone and being an associate and actually getting the okay. And yes, in a lot of these countries, the unfortunate truth is that you do have to pay a little bit of a bribe. Otherwise, you know what they will do? They will murder you. So his other option is just getting murdered. There is no way you can start a casino or a lottery business.
He could just move. He could literally just move.
I don't want to I'm not going to justify this. I feel like you're justifying it. And I think it's because you're biased and that you're his friend. And I think that this is like really doing leaps and bounds to do business from an organization. That's why you stand. That's why they said you stand.
Living in third world countries and you haven't traveled to these places, so you don't know how it works.
Condescending to me is not going to change the fact that it's morally wrong.
We don't in America, yes, it doesn't work that way, but it actually did like 60 years ago. If you want to open up a casino in Vegas, you need to have the okay from the mafia. Doesn't mean you have to do business with them. Doesn't mean you have to be part of them. Doesn't mean you have to support them. But you need that okay. If you don't get that okay, they will murder you. Romania is exactly like that. Colombia is exactly like that. My girlfriend's dad got murdered because he did not have the okay from the Colombian cartel.
So it's just a coincidence that he runs like a cam site where he could be trafficking girls, by the way. He has no like ID verification. We don't know that they're 18. He's calling these teen girls in from Romania and pimping them and branding them. Look, there you go, like defending him as if like this is morally okay. Clearly there is a bias because you're his friend, you know?
Okay, you can keep trying to attack like my personal character and saying there's some kind of bias, but I would prefer it if you just focus on the argument.
But there clearly is, and evidence is shown throughout the live stream.
If you were somewhat familiar with my channel,
all right, chat can decide.
You would know that I've publicly criticized Tate for different things. I've criticized some other things that he does. So I'm not like some big fanboy of this. The point I'm making is like all the arguments you're making are just either fundamentally false or you're just taking them out out of proportion. So what you said about the cam
I'm
girls,
just being dramatic,
he
man.
literally
He's
has,
doing
hang on,
this
I'd
organized
appreciate
crime.
if I could finish. So he has, so okay, so for the, because we're going in circles, but so he's doing basically something that OnlyFans does. There's no law against having cam girls. So if a girl comes in her own free accord and says, hey, I want to have a cam show, I want you to manage me and market me, that is not illegal. It doesn't make it pimping. There's no consent being violated. He's never been convicted of that. You would think with the hundreds and thousands of cam girls that he's had and all the scrutiny that he's under, there would be at least one case against him. There's not.
Yeah, here's the problem. OnlyFans does have trafficking. It's been reported by the BBC. They've done documentation on this. There are girls underage on their site, even with the ID verification. Now, we don't even know if Tate even goes that far to have ID verification. And cam girls, porn, anything like that is interlinked with trafficking because it fuels the whole industry. They get underage girls. That's why Pornhub had most of their videos taken down because they were not age verified, and their verification system doesn't even have an ID. So I don't think OnlyFans is a good argument because they also have trafficking. And I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case for Tate. After all, he said in multiple occasions, multiple videos, that he moved there because it's more corrupt and it's easier to partake in that corruption. This is coming from his mouth. So
yeah, again, I'm quite familiar with adult industry. I've interviewed a lot of porn stars, and the vast majority of the porn industry does not involve underage girls or crime. The vast majority, of course, that does happen under the table. And if there was clear evidence that Andrew Tate was hiring underage girls or trafficking them, then
I don't think what you're saying is true.
Then I would. What part of what I said is not true?
For example, Pornhub took about 80% of their content down. How is that not a majority? That means 80% of it potentially could have been child porn.
Okay, again, let me explain that. Very small percentage of Pornhub's content was actually underage or anything like that. The reason they took it down is because they want to basically take a big position, and they took down any content creator, anyone who uploads, who's not a verified Pornhub content creator. Vast majority.
And their verification though doesn't have ID. You could just say you're 18 and they give you the check mark.
Vast majority of the people who upload to Pornhub were not verified whatever content creators, right? They didn't have that special pass. So Pornhub just changed their policy,
right,
and anything that was not created by a verified content creator was discarded. Does not mean that it was child pornography. Child pornography is highly illegal. The FBI does not fuck around with shit like that. And again, if there was I don't know if you think it's easy to get with child pornography, but in a first world country like America, it is certainly not. And again, if there is some evidence for Andrew Tate being involved in anything underage, that would be despicable, and I would be fully on your side. But there is no evidence. This is just pure speculation.
And even after they took all that content down, they did not change their verification process. It was still, you can get verified and post content if you're under 18. There was no, you don't even need an ID.
Okay, what percentage?
And a lot of it is fueled by that.
What percentage of Pornhub's content do you think is underage children?
I don't have the statistics for that because you're basically asking me to say what amount of crime that hasn't been caught yet, percentage. And it's there's a lot of crime that happens that hasn't been caught yet.
Well, it just sounds
I do find it very suspicious that he has a campsite which you can't find much on, and we don't even know if the girls are of age. And again, he's doing business with the mafia, so it wouldn't be surprising if he's doing trafficking as well, because that's trafficking.
This is just pure conjecture. You're just speculating a whole bunch of things.
I just played proof of the Romanian mafia doing business with him.
You played proof of the fact that he had to get the okay from Romanian mafia to start a casino,
which is totally, he had a business meeting with them,
which is totally normal. Okay, what was the alternative? Get murdered?
That's not normal. You're just spreading your bias.
What should he have done? Should he have been I would like to get an answer on this. If he wanted to open a casino, what should he have done? Should he just got murdered by the Romanian mafia?
Not go to Romania to begin with.
That's where he lives.
He said why he went there. It's to commit crime. He said it's easier to have corruption.
Well, you don't have to move.
If
he wants to get rich, he doesn't have to be in Romania. Which, by the way, is
still
part of the.
I've been to Romania. It's a great place. It's an awesome place to be. What is he not allowed to live there now?
No, of course he can live there, but it doesn't mean he has to engage in criminal activity.
Okay, getting the okay from the mafia to do something that's just the way it works there. It's not the same as being an associate of the mafia.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it. You literally have a choice.
So this is criminal behavior, and free speech is not covering criminal behavior, and that's kind of the debate topic. I just want to remind you guys.
Has he been convicted of organized crime?
Has he been convicted of breaking the law in a country he said he moved to in order to partake in the corruption? It's a funny question.
What has he been convicted of?
That's like going to a country where they don't have laws about anything, being like, what were they convicted of? It's
no,
like,
Romania
I just told you.
Romania has laws.
Just in case not shoot.
Do you believe in innocent until proven guilty, or is it like?
I believe that he's sponsored by the mafia.
I don't know.
He's sponsored by the
Which
mafia.
is something you pulled straight out of your ass based on very, very...
Out of my ass? The video was not out of my ass. The
video,
words are out of your mouth.
No, this is your interpretation of the video, which is just like horribly, horribly distorted based on your somehow like weird hatred for Andrew Tate. I don't really understand why.
Now it's about my hatred. What about attacks on character much? I thought you didn't like that. Whoa, that's just kind of a little bit. I
gotta say it like it is.
I thought we weren't doing attacks on character. I thought you didn't like it.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to go through a different door. I don't care. I'm not going to argue on the point of free speech. I'm not going to argue on the point of whether he did this or he did that, or he moved here, he moved there. I like contrast. I like the evil and I like the good. And I want to be able to see evil, so therefore I know the difference between a good man and an ain't shit man, okay? So my position is, when you said, and this is go to woke, when you said that there's a terms of service, well, we understand that they are biased with the terms of service. They are not enforced equally, because like I said with my earlier example, if the terms of service were issued fairly, then all of those rap videos that advocate slapping women, actually raping women, stealthing women, and killing other Black people, those videos would be down immediately.
I agree with you that it's absolutely unfair and inconsistent. I just want to let you know, I do agree with you.
Okay, yeah. So with that being in mind, I like, here it is. There's something going. We understand that there's a need for this kind of content. I don't agree with the need, but I want to understand, why are these men, these young men, looking at an ain't shit man like Andrew Tate and the rest of the red pillars and going, yep, that's how we gonna do it. That's how we gonna. So I want to get to that problem, because here's the deal. One last thing, and I'm gonna stop. You get rid of Andrew Tate, that's fine. He will be replaced. So it's not like he's the king of red pillars. There's plenty of them where he came from. It's just that he was the most effective.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and for him, like being banned or whatever, I still think like good riddance, you know. But yeah, of course he'll be replaced. And there's like dozens of reasons why men feel attracted to these types of guys, right? We don't need this discourse to find out. We have research for that. Stuff like things we can look at, like suicide rates going up. Guys dropping out of college, you know, women by now make up like 60% of all college enrollments, I believe. Men are being left behind entirely on so many levels. Like, they're being left behind, and then combine that with the age-old idea of what men are supposed to be, what they're supposed to perform as, and they can't do it at all. And then you have people on the left also saying, you know, oh, just do better, men. This is also, you know, it's also pretty shitty.
So, hold on, I gotta ask you a question, Woke, okay?
Yeah.
And this is because I have my list. Since Andrew Tate is the man that you don't want young men to look at, tell me the type of men you want the young youth to look at.
I actually don't know if that person exists.
See, that's the problem.
Because
that's what I'm saying.
There's complete lack of role models for men. Yeah, that's an issue. That's going into what Tree was saying, is that the reason that he got to the point where he is, and is because there's a complete lack of role model for men. There's not a lot of people who are saying, hey, you want to be, as a man, you want to become more masculine, you want to become stronger, you want to go through adversity and experience trauma so that you can become stronger mentally and physically. Like, that is, even though it's pretty basic, that is good advice, and not a lot of that is being said. A lot of it is that you hear on the left is just like, oh, just listen to your emotions, stuff like that. The feel-good nonsense doesn't really help anyone. But I would ask the question like this to Brittany and Woke. What's like a cause that you're passionate about, like trans issues, or like what is something that you're passionate about?
I'm very passionate about learning about sex trafficking, and that it required me to, and anti-porn. And when I started with learning anti-porn, that required me to learn a lot about sex trafficking. You can't research one without the other. But I just want to say really quickly to what Tree said earlier. I agree with what she said, that there should be an example for that contrast. But my point of contention is that he's doing business with an organized crime group that is responsible for a large portion of child trafficking. So if we remove that from the equation, if he wasn't doing that, I would agree. I'd be like, yeah, we need someone to point to say that they're shit and here's why they're shit, and they set an example. I don't think that Andrew Tate is a good role model. I mean, he even berates and minimizes mental health issues among men.
Oh, I agree. He's not a good role model.
I'm not a fan of that. That's one thing I publicly disagree with him on. Like when he says depression is not real, I've said like that's pure nonsense. So yeah, okay. So that's Brittany. That seems to be like your main point of contention is the Romanian mafia link. So what do you think about someone like Michael Franzese or Sammy the Bull? They're both popular YouTubers. They're both involved in the mafia. Sammy the Bull has been convicted of murdering over 20 people. Do you think that they should be deplatformed?
I think that if YouTube and Facebook and all these type of platforms that banned him for the reason of having violent crime associations, which was one of the cited reasons, they would have to also deplatform other criminals. I don't personally know much about what those two people you just said, but I do believe if somebody is committing acts of like severe violent crime, such as trafficking, I'm not talking about like, oh, you know, they like smoked weed once or something, like obviously not, but we're talking about like extreme crime organizations, like things that are morally bad, and I think Andrew Tate is morally bad. He's supporting things that are morally bad. I don't think he's a role model.
But do you think someone should be convicted of that crime before being deplatformed, or do you think just being accused of a crime by a person on YouTube is enough?
He wasn't accused. He admitted to doing business with them and then said that they're doing a good job of X, Y, and Z.
So do you think
we watched the video?
Do you think like making an observation about the city you live in, which is controlled by organized crime, and saying, hey, there's some things that, you know, organized crime does well, like keeping the streets safe and keeping drugs away from school, which are all things you and I would agree on are good things. Like, do you think just making that general observation should be enough reason for you to get deplatformed?
I think him being sponsored by the mafia that allows children to get raped is enough reason to deplatform, and it's not free speech. I'd like for you to directly answer my question. So yeah, I did answer the question. This has nothing to do with making like a poorly framed observation. This has to do with the fact that, you know, number one, he said something positive about the Romanian mafia. If we remove the second clip, maybe you could say that. But then when you combine it with the second clip of he has business dealings with the people that sell children, beat children so that they make more for begging money on the street in Romania, like, yeah, that's not protected. We don't protect criminals. We don't protect violent behavior, especially against children. It's abhorrent.
Let me ask you a series of hypotheticals, and it'll be pretty quick. Okay, hypothetically speaking,
we have to.
Yeah, we do, because this is how we're going to get to the bottom of it.
So, hypothetically speaking, we just like Ben Shapiro.
Hypothetically speaking, I moved to Colombia, which has a lot of organized crime, and I make a video where I say, you know what I've noticed from living in Colombia, that with the cartel, there's actually a lot less violence on the streets. Should I get deplatformed for that?
Should you get deplatformed for saying when the mafia is around, there's less crime on the streets? Well, here's the thing. YouTube's policy says if you basically promote any sort of like terrorization, criminal crime, like violent organizations, if you promote any of that, they will basically deplatform you. I know this because I made a joke. I made like literally it was a 6-second clip on YouTube. And it was of me running, and then there was like the Twin Towers, and then they literally gave me a strike for that, even though it was like very blatantly satires, a 6-second clip, and it was also 8 years old. Like at that point, it was like almost a decade-year old, and they we're like, no, guess what? You get a strike on your channel. You do it again, you're going to get deplatformed. So if they were consistent with their policies, I guess they would remove that. Maybe they consider it like
I want to bring
promoting organized crime.
I want to get your opinion. I'm not asking about YouTube's opinion. I'm asking about your opinion. So again, in the hypothetical, I moved down to Colombia and I make a video where I say an observation. I've been living in Colombia for 3 months. I noticed that it's a bit safer here, and I think that's because organized crime keeps petty crime away. Well, should I get deplatformed for that statement, in your opinion?
In my opinion, no.
Okay.
But it depends the way you're saying it, but generally with how you're saying it, no.
So in that example, no. What if I, for example, I moved to Colombia and I want to open up a lottery business, and in order to do that in Colombia, you do need I say, hey, I want to open a lottery business, and I had to get the okay from the mafia in Colombia to do that, and I'm public about that in a video. Should I get deplatformed for that?
First off, don't live in Colombia then. Maybe there's some places and you have to live in Colombia, sure, but that's where it comes down to integrity of hey, I want to open something up, and in order to open it up, I'm going to be funding something that hurts children, allows them to get beaten and raped and trafficked, and girls as well, and sometimes little boys too. At that point, you have to have integrity and be like, no, this is not worth it. That's called being a moral person.
Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. You might have different ethics. You might be a moral person. But I'm asking,
you don't have those ethics? You would fund that?
Okay, it doesn't matter what I would do or what I would not do.
No, you're dodging that. I'm answering your question. You would fund that? You would support the mafia? You would, in order to get your business, you would support children getting harmed?
Yes, okay, I'll answer your question. If I was living in Colombia and I want to open a lottery business for whatever reason, and my choices were, 1, get murdered and do it without the mafia's consent, or 2, get the okay from them and then open it, I would definitely take the latter option, because I am not going to die over some virtuous grandstanding. Now, me personally, I probably would not be involved in the lottery business because it's just not up my alley. But if I want to be involved in that kind of business, especially after my girlfriend's dad got killed for literally that thing, I would certainly not do it without getting the okay from the mafia, because that is literally suicide. But going back to the question I asked, so for the first scenario, you said no, you don't think I should be deplatformed from that. So again, let me repose this question. I go to Colombia, I want to open a whatever, for whatever reason, doesn't matter why I'm there. Maybe I'm marrying my girlfriend, whatever, and I want to open a lottery business, and I know that I need to get the okay from the cartel to do that, and I make a video where I said, hey, guys, open this casino. In order to do it, I had to get the okay from the cartel. Do you think I should be deplatformed for that statement?
You're basically empowering the mafia at that point. You're kind of encouraging others to do that. Hey, this is how I made my business that's making money. I made deals with the mafia. I'm going to empower the mafia. And consent doesn't just mean consent, by the way. It also means what do you think that means? It means that you're also going to be giving the mafia a cut of that. You're funding that. You're empowering them to sell children, to beat children, rape children, sell young girls.
You have to give a bribe, which in a lot of third world countries, you have to give a bribe to the government. In a lot of these third world countries, bribing is just part of the system. There's no way around it. If you don't do it, you either get thrown in jail or you get executed. So again, do you think...
It's called having integrity, having principles. You say no, and you move. Or you do something about it.
Moving to a different country is not an option. People have reasons for living in a country. He has, I don't know why, but he might have family there. He might have friends there. There are reasons why people live in countries, right? It's not as easy as, just get up and move, because this country is poor and it's not perfect, right? Sometimes you have to make the best out of an imperfect system, which is something that happens in the U.S. But I do want to get a clear answer from Brittany. Once again, in that situation where I make a statement that I had to get an okay from the Colombian cartel to open up my casino or my lottery business, should I get deplatformed for making that statement?
Because you're encouraging it and you're promoting it and you're saying, hey, this is how you get a business going. If you're saying it in the context of how Andrew Tate is, hey, I'm a big G, look how I got all this money, and then you say that, then yes, because you are basically empowering them. And also, your consent is basically allowing for children to get hurt and killed. Are you okay with that?
In the way that I said it. In the way that I said, I made a video where I say, hey guys, open up a lottery business in Colombia. I had to get the okay from the Colombian mafia to do it, but I'm all up and now. Should I get deplatformed for making that statement?
Because how you just prefaced it was you guys should do this. So yeah, if you're saying you guys should do this, and then you're following up with, I made a deal with the organized crime group that gets children raped.
What if I never said
one of the top 5? Then yeah.
In the analogy I gave you, I never said you should do it. I just said this is how I did it. So once again, I say I'm opening up. I had to open up a casino, and I had to get the okay from the Colombian mafia. Should I get deplatformed? That I'm not saying you guys should do it too. I'm just saying this is what I had to do.
Yeah, because you're basically giving them a guide on how to do it, and then other people are going to get the idea of, maybe I should do that too, and they're going to copy, especially if it's in the context. The context is very important too, of where you're a guru, like Andrew Tate, and he's saying, this is how you become a real man, this is how you make money, and then he says, do this, this, and that, and then he says that. Yeah, that is encouraging other people to do that.
So okay, so it seems like you're like literally the crux of your issue with Andrew Tate is that he had to get the okay from the Romanian mafia in order to open up his casino.
My crux at Andrew Tate is that he does business with the Romanian mafia that's once again responsible for the death of children, for children getting raped, for women getting raped, and being one of the top 5 reasons of why trafficking happens in Europe.
Have you ever lived in a third world country?
Can we stop?
Yeah, New York.
Okay, well, that's not really third world country. I've lived in third world country. I was born in Russia. I know about this, and it's different than America. I'm not trying to be condescending, Brittany, or say like whatever, but it's easy as an American to ignore that. But when you live in these countries, you do have to make use of the system that's there. It doesn't mean that you like it. Doesn't mean that you want to do it. But if you don't, you get murdered. That's the alternative.
But Andrew Tate didn't have to do that. He was already a multi-millionaire by that point. He was a worldwide kickboxer. Like he had to do it. He had money already. He's just greedy and doesn't give a shit about children or women.
He had to do it in order to open up his casino.
But he's just greedy. It's not like he was dying and I need breadcrumbs, I'm starving. Like, no, he chose to do business with a criminal, violent organization that gets children raped and killed.
Brittany, I will concede, because even though it's not my argument, and I'm not conceding on behalf of outlets, I just want to move on to something else.
We can move on.
He didn't have to. You're right. He didn't have to go to Romania. So I want to move on to what happens to Andrew Tate 2.0, who comes after that next. And he learns not to be so misogynistic, and he learns all the things that got Andrew Tate, the original, deplatformed. He dumbs it down a little bit and then do it behind the scenes. See, this is what I don't like is, for example, let's go back to the white nationalists. I like when they were just bold with it, and I like when they were just straight up with their racism, because I could tell who they are. I like to know my enemies. But when you have these guys who have to say, oh, I know not to say this, I know not to say that, even though they want to cause harm to women and children, whoever, now that has put women in a more dangerous position because, and you know this to be true, Brittany, we have to dumb down our language or hide our true beliefs so that we can stay on the platform. That, to me, makes things worse. Do y'all agree or disagree on that?
Yeah, just to kind of quickly just add one thing to that. Yeah, the big lesson here is don't be so transparent about things in your life so you don't get deplatformed. That's the lesson here. Just don't be transparent. Because people do shit like anyone who lives in a third world country and has a business has to get the okay from the person in charge. Or
Alex, let it go.
Yeah, I can't because he wasn't banned because of that. Like we can say if that's true, that would be for me. Yeah, good riddance, good reason. If it's true,
that is why he's banned. They cited that as one of the reasons. I'm
pretty sure on Facebook and stuff they said because of his violent, dangerous individual stuff, because of the things he was saying, like the clips that were going around. I'm
gonna use the restroom real quick. Sorry, I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
I thought at least. I may be wrong there.
So what would you guys answer to my question on the Andrew Tate 2.0?
Well, if he came, yeah, for me, my line is pretty clear. As I said at the beginning, it's simply the violent stuff. Everything else, like he could literally still have his same views on women. I don't care. Disrupt the things of, oh, they're second-class humans. That's not a high bar. That's easy to do.
Okay, he doesn't say they're second-class humans, but he believes they're second-class humans, and he treats them like second-class humans in IRL.
Yeah, when I say that, you don't have to literally say they are second-class humans, but there are
He
certain
basically said,
characteristics, right?
I would say
that,
the quote where he's talking about how you bang out the machete, boom her in the face, grip her by the neck.
Yeah, that's dehumanizing.
Yeah, it is.
Then
Even though it's not
they're like,
directly.
then
My
comparing them to
argument-
dogs, they should just
Yeah, my
they should
argument
obey like
is
dogs, right? That's also dehumanizing, all that kind of shit. Just drop that, then you're good.
my argument is let them say it so you know who you're dealing with. If somebody is, for example, let's take it to the racism thing. If I have somebody who hates me for who I am, me being a black woman, okay, I'd rather them call me the N-word and stuff like that and tell me I'm all kind of chimps. That I want to see that out in the open so I know, oh, if we're racist, there's someone going, oh, Black Lives Matter. Oh, I love my black queen. And then they are plotting for mine and other black women's death. And therefore, when we see these people in person, God forbid, heaven forbid, for event, then we are assuming that they are an ally or a friend instead of seeing them for the enemy that they are.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know that it's even necessary to let them say whatever they want, because you can,
Why?
like, let me take an example. Well, actually, mainstream media, something like Fox News, where Tucker Carlson, for example, right? He doesn't say anything explicit, but he takes some ideas, that kind of, cozy up to white nationalists. What was it?
Like
what?
what?
Was it once a great replacement, kind of stuff he pandered
What's
on
wrong
the
with
show.
what's wrong with him talking about the great replacement?
No, the point, well, it's factually incorrect, but whatever. No, the point is.
What part
that,
of it is incorrect? Okay, I don't want to get in. We can do another debate on that one. But you can't compare Tucker Carlson talking about something that's happening to white people, which is really happening to white people, in reference to
make my point.
showing a woman the enemy that wished to do her harm. Tucker Carlson is not trying to do anybody harm.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate is, and I want him on the platform so I can see him for who he is.
Okay, I would disagree that Tucker Carlson is saying things that wouldn't cause people harm. He absolutely does. The point is, he doesn't say something that is explicit.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't say anything that causes harm.
Okay, forget it. He does, but just assume he does.
You can't even tell me
he
what he says that will cause harm.
He doesn't say anything explicit. He doesn't say anything explicit.
Okay, Andrew, who says more stuff explicit? Andrew Tate or Tucker Carlson? Who said more stuff explicit?
That's my freaking point. However,
no,
a lot of stuff that Carlson says.
Your point is you're trying to conflate Andrew Tate with Tucker Carlson, and that's not true. Andrew Tate is nothing like Tucker Carlson.
You're missing the point.
I'm not going to let you get away with that, okay? So here's the deal.
Yeah, because you're missing my point.
Andrew Tate has said violent things against women. Tucker Carlson did not. Stay on the consistency here.
Yeah, the point is you don't have to literally spell it out to convey the same
I am talking
meaning.
about literally spelling it out. I want to have a white nationalist literally say the N-word with the ER. I want them to literally say, put them on the book. I want to know who they are. That's what I'm telling you. I want them to be able to say what the fuck they want to say so I can recognize my enemy.
Yeah, they don't even have to say that though, so you can recognize that they're
enemies.
Because
they have to say it because I would not recognize them if they
don't have to
didn't
call
say
you the
otherwise.
N-word, dude. That's crazy. They don't have to actually be explicitly racist.
And listen, you're white, I'm black. I don't have any problem with somebody saying the N-word. Don't be my fucking white savior.
I don't care about that.
I don't need you to take from me.
I cannot believe that. The point is going
Yeah, I know, a black woman who has no problem. You sit up here and act like you're thin-skinned, and don't sit up here and try to cape on my behalf. I don't need you to be my white savior. That's what's fucking wrong with you goddamn lefties, okay? Don't
I ain't no leftist,
be
man.
my savior, okay?
Oh god.
Well, do you think
that was a breakdown of communication?
If I tell you as a black woman that I want white racists to be able to say what the fuck they want so that I can recognize them, you and your white ass should not have a problem with that.
So as a fellow black woman, I would like to say my
opinion. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, as a fellow black woman, I definitely agree with Trini's sentiment of they should be allowed to say the N-word. That's something that's actually protected under free speech, even if it's offensive, and I don't particularly care if people say it either. I think there's contexts where people can say it and it's not offensive anyway. But with that said, I think it becomes not free speech, and I think that the guideline should be, is it free speech? So with that said, if it becomes something like you're inciting violence, that's not protected speech. So if he were saying things that were inciting violence against women, that wouldn't be protected speech.
Woke, do you think Tucker Carlson should be deplatformed?
No.
You don't?
Oh, you don't?
Okay.
No, because I told you what the bar is, right? I think he conveys crappy messages, but the bar is literally don't go around and, I don't know, salute like Adolf Hitler or shit like that. It's not.
He did not salute Adolf Hitler.
Holy crap! That's just an example. I'm not saying he literally did that. I said just don't do stuff like that.
Tell me what Tucker Carlson actually did.
I think he's talking about Tate.
Stop putting stuff. No, not even Tate, just hypothetical person.
No, you wasn't here, Alex. He had a problem with Tucker Carlson, and I wanted to know what his issue was. And he can't give me an example of what Tucker Carlson did that was really wrong.
Yeah, well, as I said, we have a disagreement on the Great Replacement shit. You say whatever, the way he speaks about immigrants, for example.
What about immigrants?
I think we're getting a little off track.
Before we go off,
yeah, we're getting way off track here. Oh my god! I swear to God. You know what? We can debate about that some other time, but holy crap!
I just
here's the deal.
About all my point.
Tucker Carlson should not be in this example at all. Okay, I am actually.
I can think of plenty of other examples, but okay.
Yeah, but Brittany made a good point that inciting violence is against terms of service, but even then, I have no problem with low-key innuendos about it, because I want to see when Andrew Tate, there's a video where he said, if you want your woman to submit, you got to slap her around, tell her to get on her knees and suck your dick. And I want him to keep saying stuff like that so I can show women, especially traditional women, you don't let a man talk to you that way, and you stay away from men who talk this way. And we come up with plans just in case they come their way. That's how I feel. I cannot know how you really think if you can't express yourself.
So in that same token, though, there also are 15-year-olds watching Andrew Tate. I clicked his final message video and I was scrolling comments, and one of the first ones was, "I'm 15 and I find Andrew Tate a role model." I have a screenshot
that's really, come on, that could be a troll. That could be somebody who's 33 years
also
old.
irrelevant to the point. Everyone, you're as a content creator, you're not responsible for what some random person supports you. I'm sure his videos are 18 plus, just like mine are. So if just some underage kid decides to watch his videos, it's not his fault.
So my point in saying that is, so at what point it becomes harmful, right? And it's kind of why we have laws for, for example, against inciting violence. Why? Because then you're going to make other people commit acts of violence, therefore we outlaw it. That's why it's bad. So that's why I point that out.
But there's a big difference, Brittany, between directly inciting violence and maybe making a joke out of context that some crazy motherfucker just misinterprets and uses to create violence. As far as I know, there has been a grand total of 0 cases of any of Andrew Tate's fans committing any kind of violence. So I think that, first of all, that's an important thing to consider. Second of all, I think Andrew Tate, actually, from what I've seen, does a little bit of a better job at preventing strong harassment and violence than a lot of the left-leaning content creators I see. He directly says multiple times, "Hey guys, if you're going to argue with my haters, be respectful, don't harass them, blah, blah, blah." And I see people on the left doing way worse, like flood his DMs, fuck this guy, tell him to fuck off, tell him how much a piece of shit it is. So I think he's done a little bit of a better job. But to kind of pivot back, okay, Brittany, I understand your argument, and it seems like the crux of your argument is the fact that, is the mafia thing. You feel like that should be instant grounds for disqualification from YouTube. I guess let me redirect this to Woke. What do you think are the reasons that justify him being deplatformed?
You mean just from the TOS, or?
In your opinion, this is purely in your opinion. What do you do that wants him?
Well, TOS violation for me is already enough, because just the way our system is set up with how these businesses operate and work, and the rights they have, like Section 230 and all that kind of stuff. That is just how it's going to be. I know it's enforced unfairly. In a better world, it wouldn't be. I can agree to that.
Those TOS are very vague. They can literally deplatform any one of us tomorrow for TOS
I get
violations.
it. Yeah, but they still have to have it, because for the simple fact that they have this third-party immunity protection, right? They don't want to be sued. Right? They have these abilities to edit the stuff on their platforms
but I'm asking,
because of Section 230.
Look, I'm asking your opinion. Like, I make you the CEO of YouTube tomorrow, right? You're the CEO of YouTube. What did Andrew Tate do, in your opinion, that warrants him being deplatformed?
He violated the DOS, which is in place, not honestly, not even in place to make all people, I don't know, all the woke people or anybody, any of the users or the content creators happy, but because I, as CEO of YouTube, care about my advertisers who are paying me, making me $8 billion a year of revenue, and want to advertise their shit on videos, and they can't do that when they say, I'm not going to put my shit on that video.
But you agree any one of us tomorrow could be found in violation of TOS if YouTube wants to take us down. You agree with that, right? The TOS services, I don't know if you've ever read them, but they're written so vaguely that literally this can apply to any single person on the screen right now.
As they are crappy, I agree. But that they exist at all is a given. They could be reformed, made better, more precise.
But if any one of us could be kicked off, sorry.
Hold on, Alex, hold on a second. Well, would you be outraged if YouTube took down the drill rap where black men are advocating killing of other black men on video?
Would I be outraged? Well, I wouldn't say outraged. I probably wouldn't give a shit.
So why do you not give a shit about that, where actually black men are actually dying as a result of these videos, but you give a shit about Andrew Tate?
No, I honestly don't know. Like, maybe you can educate me there, but I don't know if these videos are the cause of that.
I don't think,
there is a level of
there are
artistic...
gang members who actually tell other gang members that they're going to come to this particular block and shoot them, and it actually happens.
Yeah, but they don't do it like, okay, by the way, I'm going to upload my music video in 2 hours. Once you see what happens in that music video, you know what to do. That's not what freaking happens. In those videos, they just rap about it.
They upload the video of them saying what they're doing. They actually show their weapons, the Uzis, the AKs, the ARs. They show their illegal weapons, and then they talk about who they're going to take out and when they're going to tell you the time frame, and then it's done. This is documented. I'm not making this up. This is actually documented.
Oh, okay. No, I see what you mean now. Okay, I gotcha. They're announcing themselves what they're... Yeah, sure. That should be...
They announced that they're going to commit this crime against this gang. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that absolutely should be taken down, for sure. And if it isn't, then that's...
But if you agree with me that the TOS are written so shitty that any one of us could be taken off tomorrow for some vague TOS violation, don't you find that? How can you not find that problematic?
I said it's problematic. It's not perfect.
Oh, okay.
My point is that a TOS will have to exist because the website.
But if the TOS are problematic, then why are you using it as your reason to justify?
No, not this particular type of TOS as they have it. Just the general concept of the TOS will exist.
Yeah, no,
and
sure, of course.
In this case, well, I mean, some of his statements. I mean, for me personally, now we can move on to because that's not my only reason, but personally, they are too far.
Okay, let's go through some specifics.
Again, we had the machete stuff. We had the the constant if you want to call him a misogynist. The thing is, I don't even care about the stuff where he even says women are weaker. That's true. Physically, at least.
I would.
I don't care about all that, but let me finish real quick.
Okay.
It's just these very particularly violent things like the machete thing. I do think that here, if they don't obey me, then they can't be with them in a relationship, comparing them to dogs type stuff like that. There are just bits and bits here that are just for me, I'll say it. I do think a degree of decency, is good virtue to have.
Well, there's a lot of people on YouTube who don't have decency. But what if?
Oh, for sure.
What if you found out that this was just a joke? He was kidding. Would then that warrant him being removed? Like, do you think inappropriate humor should give you the
yeah. Well, the thing is here, you can't just say he was joking. Like, we can actually show it as a comedic context. But yeah, comedic artistic context. That's what. But the drift rapping is a bit difficult for me because it is art after all, and art for me has a way higher bar to cross if you want to say that art. And in fact, I don't think art should be banned at all. But like just talking, like we're talking here, isn't like any kind of art.
So if you knew, I just want to clarify your position. So if you knew that all that stuff was said in a humor context, then you don't think that should be deplatformed grounds, or?
If it's a clear comedic context, no.
Okay. So that's interesting. So then how
the context matters, right? Context matters. And if I'm lacking the context here, then sure, I can walk back on all my.
But since you're not sure if he was kidding or not, you don't know. Don't you think it's a little harsh to then just be like, well, I don't know if he was kidding or not, so let's just deplatform him. If you agree that if someone is kidding, that stuff is okay.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to throw out there that the stuff with Andrew Tate, I think it was very clearly like not in the context of kidding. I think the things that were shown were pretty in context of being serious and not falling under artistic. Also, for me, I have a different standard than he does, by the way. I just want to point that out, than woke. My standard wouldn't be the TOS per se. It would be that I think the TOS should be based off of free speech. I think that the precedent should be free speech. So I think that maybe in the context of the example you guys are talking about, maybe that should be something that's like brought into court or something like that, where it's like a very like nuanced one where it's hard to tell.
Well,
but
Brittany,
I think it should be set on free speech.
Yeah, it's not illegal. Like I can say, well, I'm not gonna say it, but I can say similar statements that I'm not risking getting deplatformed. But I can make that same exact statement, and that wouldn't be I wouldn't be found of any like criminal crime. That's not illegal. Is it imported? Yeah, of course, but like that's not illegal to like make inappropriate.
Real threats are though. Real threats are not protected by free speech.
You're right. But real threat is to someone specific. So if he said that Brittany, blah blah blah, machete, blah blah blah, then yes, that would be legal. But it wasn't.
But it could be considered inciting violence. Now, if it were to a group of people.
Inciting violence gets a little tricky.
Not covered.
Typically, the way it works is if like you're directly inciting violence. So if you're like, yo guys, if your girlfriend ever breaks up with you, then what you want to do is you want to get a machete and you want to blah 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 blah. Then that would be inciting violence. But if you're talking like in firsthand, yeah, if my girlfriend breaks up with me, I'm blah 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 blah, and it's like, in my opinion, very obviously a joking context, that would not be inciting violence. There's a difference between telling other people to do directly and just sharing like an anecdote. And you see comedians do this all the time with saying shit like, oh, blah, blah, and they're like, whoa, like, really? No, it's a fake story. He's fucking around.
Yeah, but is it really in joking context when we know he is in with the Romania mafia? That's a child sex trafficking ring. It's like, is it really a joke though? Like that's the kind of the context we're talking about here. I think that's very relevant.
Well, again, we have your interpretation is that it's no. My interpretation is that yes. At the end of the day, we don't really know because neither one of us can read his mind. But I think my interpretation of a lot of people was that it was a poor attempt at humor. But going back to the Romanian mafia thing one more time, those things are totally unrelated. Someone could get. Someone could get.
Okay, we don't have to bring it back to that.
Okay, fine.
We don't have to bring it back to the Romanian mafia thing. I see trees like suffering. But there is more context than just the mafia thing. There's also the fact that he was citing the DMs of that 19-year-old gymnast. And trying to fly her out. So I feel like with the context it's like.
What's wrong with that?
It gives the vibes of sex trafficking because of all the other context, and also again, he runs a campsite. We don't even know if he has 18 plus girls.
How's that? If she's over 18, how is it like in any way illegal? She's 19, you said. He's sliding her DMs.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to point out is trafficking isn't only limited to under 18. It can also be above 18. As long as you're manipulating or coercing the person into doing sex work. And a lot of the girls he's written this on one of his bios that they're all like first timers. So he like told them to do that and then he takes the money away from them and he literally brands them like cattle, like literally.
Well, that's how
I would say that's pretty trafficky with all the other context and the mafia ties.
Okay. Well, let's just try to go through these one by one. So with this example, he's saying to a girl, that, hey, I want to fly you out to Romania. I don't see how that's coercion or pressure of any kind. That's him making an offer. Is it kind of cringe? Yeah, probably. But like being a little cringy over Twitter, Instagram DMs is not like illegal or shouldn't be deplatformed. Going back to the other stuff you were saying where he takes 50% of a cut. Yeah, that's pretty standard. Like when you have a manager, they take a percentage of your thing. Now, the argument he made in favor of that is that, well, these girls became millionaires because of that. So their choice was either making 100% of nothing or making 50% of a large sum of money, right? Again, we can't verify that. We don't know if knowing that's true, but that kind of makes sense to me. It's like, yeah, like if they're entering the contract willingly, right? They're saying, okay, I agree to this. Maybe could they do better on their own? I don't know, maybe, but that's not coercion, that's not pressure. You would need to show me proof, and ideally, the kind of proof I would want to see is him being convicted of a crime of like sex trafficking. Then we can say, okay, yeah, he's doing some sex trafficking, but just because like this is all very circumstantial, just because he has he manages camp girls and he takes a percentage of their money, doesn't mean that there was coercion or pressure involved. That's purely your speculation.
Well, you're saying him being convicted, but the thing is, we just saw, sorry, got to wrench it again, the Romanian mafia thing, like he's in ties, and he says that you can pay off people very easily in Romania. That's one of the reasons he moved there. So how are you expecting him to get convicted of crimes? That doesn't really make sense. Like that's kind of why he moved there,
because
so that he could pay people off.
Because there's more than just the Romanian government. There's also Interpol, and there's also all kinds of things. So if he's importing girls from other countries for sex trafficking, it's not going to be just the Romanian government that's going to be coming after him. It's going to be Interpol and all that stuff, and that's a lot harder to
Which they did.
Okay, again, different thing. So what happened with that?
He was under investigation.
Okay. He was arrested and released from jail literally 2 hours later. There was no formal charges filed. He has like zero. It was literally one chick. The story is that one chick was at his house. Her boyfriend called her. She didn't know what to say because she was basically with another guy. She's supposed to be in an exclusive relationship. And she said, yeah, this guy forced me to be here, right? The police came. They found that all the girls were sitting there laughing, having a good time. There was no kind of sex dungeon.
This according to who?
And then they literally released him from jail 1 hour later. Do you think that if there was a
wait, who's this from? Like, where are you getting that information from?
Where am I getting the information from? That's what.
Yeah, who said it?
That's what was reported. I don't remember exactly who said it.
So I don't think that's what was reported on, because when I looked at the report, they basically made a very one sentence statement, said we can't say anything further because of the safety of the girls. So I feel like you're getting that from Tate.
But don't you think?
And that's kind of biased.
Don't you think if there was a serious crime, that if he was actually guilty of the crime, they would have not released him 1 hour later?
With him doing dealings with the Romanian mafia, who has access to the government, as he said, and that's the reason he moved there, is to have better access to corruption. No, I wouldn't think that, actually.
See,
he wasn't under investigation. You can read the Romanian police report, which I did because I had someone translate it to me.
The problem
and they also don't work the same as the U.S. judicially.
The problem I have with your line of logic is that you're just inferring a whole bunch of things on very weak circumstantial evidence, and then you're using that to build your case for why he should be deplatformed. Any one of us can be accused of something. Tomorrow, some random person, some girl that I spurned, or someone who doesn't like me could accuse me of something, and police could come and visit my house. I don't think I should be deplatformed just for that. I think we have to actually...
Of course, not for just random accusations. Obviously not, and it could happen to any of us, I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, again, the mafia ties are just miscellaneous and random and whoopsie. Definitely not. It's definitely deeper than what we're even seeing for him to even mention it. And he's funding them.
But don't you think if there was some serious mafia tie that he probably would just not mention it at all?
I thought he was smart. I thought he wouldn't mention anything about the mafia, but apparently not.
It just seems like he was sharing an anecdote about what he had to do to get his casino open.
He said that he had to have a meeting with them, and that doesn't just mean, oh yeah, we're cool with it. That has implications. If the mafia doesn't want you to do something, the reason they'll let you do it usually is because you're giving them a cut of some sort. The point is, even if you said that's not true, which usually does tend to be the case, he did have a meeting with them. He is having ties with them, and he did say nice things about them. So
the nice things, quote unquote, that he said was literally, it's safer in Romania where the organized crime mafia keeps their crime.
But with the context of everything else.
Right, but
it's it's kind of like how in context of you being his friend, it kind of does change the context of some of the
Okay,
things
first of all, I
said.
think you're misunderstanding a relationship. We're like we have like a working relationship. I'm fond of the guy personally, but we're not like best friends or something like that. I've never even met the guy, but he's always been very sweet and respectful to me and all our mutual friends. But yeah, we're not like BFFs or something.
I don't think
like
that.
And I've also criticized him on my channel multiple times. So.
So.
Go ahead, Britt.
Oh, I think that if we lived in like a hypothetical world where he wasn't having all these things that were talked about already, we wouldn't have the problem. We would probably like agree that he shouldn't be banned, but that's not the world we live in, and he has connections to organizations that hurt children. So
okay, so you
and also one more thing. Earlier, you were saying managing. That is not managing. That is pimping. Pimps are sex traffickers typically. So. And he doesn't provide any sort of age verification for his girls. We have known nothing about that. Just putting that out there.
Okay, just because we don't know something doesn't mean that you're guilty of a crime. I don't know, Brittany.
But we know he's involved with criminals.
Brittany,
I
don't know if he used that feather to murder someone earlier today, but it doesn't mean just because.
But do I have a history of murdering people?
But just because I don't know something doesn't mean you did it, right? That's the problem with that logic. We don't know if he's age verifying those girls, but just because we don't know that doesn't mean he's not. Doesn't mean that he's fueling underage girls. That's a problem with that kind of logic. It's just like, well, we don't know that, so they're guilty.
Yeah, a lot of this does sound like conjecture, you know.
If I had context of being a murderer or doing violent things, then yeah, like maybe you could say that. But there actually is context, of which I said 100 times already, with Violent Crime Organization Association.
The context is literally two videos. One where he says
he fled from the UK to literally have access to better corruption. He said this on video. Okay. That's the context.
What was said in that video was that he had a false accusation, which was dropped by the British government, and he moved to Romania.
He had multiple videos.
Where he moved to Romania because he felt safer there, because he thinks the laws are more fair. And honestly, living in the Me Too era, like where, you know, basically all it takes an accusation to completely fuck over your life, I can see his logic. Like why he would want to live in a country that doesn't have like such crazy laws. So that's,
I have a clip I can play, because you're saying it's one video, but it's not.
Well, what I was saying is two videos where where you're talking about the organized crime, and literally one of the videos he says he just feels safer, making an observation that he feels safer in a country like Romania, where there's organized crime instead of disorganized crime, which logically
Can we play
makes
the clip?
Yeah, go for it.
Is it okay? Okay, cool. Because I just want to be clear in which one I'm talking about, because I think you're talking about different than I'm talking about, because I know there's multiple.
Don't forget to hit that little box in the bottom right where it'll give you the audio choice.
Okay.
And I want to remind you folks, in the meantime, our guests are linked in the description. If you'd like to hear more, you certainly can by clicking on their links below. Go ahead, Brittany.
All right.
Freedom to me, it's like being able to do whatever you want.
Do you think you can do whatever you want in America?
No.
I live in Romania, right? Romania is not a free country, technically. Do you think I could get away with doing more here than I could do in America? If I were to get my shear on and drive 200 miles an hour down the high street in the middle of the city, you think I'd get in more trouble here or more trouble in America?
Probably in America, but it does depend who you are. There's plenty of people who have gotten away with things in America. It's like, how the fuck did they get away with that?
Correct. So this is the exact point. Every single system, all of them are corrupt. The judicial system's corrupt. The medical system is corrupt. The financial system's corrupt. It's all corrupt. It's all a matter of who you are. Now, in America, the game is limited to ultra-billionaires who control the government, as you've said. In other countries, anyone with money and some basic social skills and some nice friends can play the game. If we're going to accept that every single system on the planet is corrupt, why would you live in a place where you cannot access to corruption? Does that make sense, logically? Or would you rather live in a system where you can say, you know what, I am important enough within said society that if the police stop me, I can give them $10 and they'll fuck off?
So he literally talks about...
everything he said is like literally true. That's like all facts right there.
But he says he wants to move somewhere where he can pay off the police. So I really don't put it above him to pay off people, especially when he says he's associated with the mafia. So I don't think he'd be convicted.
Yeah, but we're talking about context. When he's speeding in his Bugatti, like going 200 miles per hour, he's basically saying in the U.S. I would get fucked for something like that. In Bugatti, I can just give the cop a bribe and then I don't get like whatever arrested for speeding. That's the context there.
Yes, but he also says that he likes to be able to bribe them, and there's all the other contexts that we've already discussed.
Well, the context here was him speeding. Do you think people should be deplatformed for speeding?
For speeding?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be for speeding. It would be for saying Instead of he should say instead of I moved to Romania because it's safer, he should have said I moved to Romania because I can be more lawless there because I apparently have no morals.
Well, no, he's making an observation, and the observation is true. Governments are corrupt. American government is corrupt. But the way corruption, he's right, the way corruption works in America, you have to be a top-tier politician or like an Elon Musk to play the game. You and I don't have any access to that corruption. So, for example, if the government wants
I wouldn't want access to it. I would want it to go away.
Well, you're right, because I'm not trying to make this make this a personal thing, but that's because you're not playing at a top tier game. You're not a multi-millionaire, right? So you don't really need that. You're not a target. You're not. I'm not trying to be a dick, but you're not important enough to be a target for the government, right? And neither am I. I'm not putting you in a category.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. What he's saying.
Well, he's talking about corruption, but then he goes and does business against the mafia, and then he also has girls that are of unknown ages, possibly underage, that he's pimping out and branding like cattle.
Again.
So like the whole thing, like it's not just he wants to speed. Like there's all the other details too. And also to answer your question about the speeding thing, I think if you were endangering people's lives and you were using a platform to like put that out there, yeah, you should deplatform because that could be endangering people's lives. If you're seeing like, I don't know, like 200 miles an hour in a place you're not supposed to be, there's people around, something like that.
Brittany, your kind of respect for free speech seems to be very tentative at best. It just seems that like free speech is cool unless you say something that's like a little offensive, in which case you should be
wrong. Absolutely. I literally said earlier, I don't care if people say the N-word. I don't care if they say things that are offensive. I care if it's speech that's not protected by free speech. And some of those things are inciting violence, endangering people, threats, violent organizations committing crimes like that.
But you're saying
child trafficking rings.
You're literally saying that if someone is speeding and they talk about it on a YouTube video, that's grounds enough for them to be deplatformed.
I didn't say if they talk about it on a YouTube video. I said if they were like actively doing it and endangering people in it, and they're like live streaming it or something.
Oh well,
like
he wasn't live streaming himself speeding. He was just talking about it. So then that doesn't apply.
This may be.
Well, I don't know where you got that from.
Is there a video of him like live streaming his speeding, or is it him just talking?
Well, I don't know where you're getting all this from. Like, I don't know where you started with that whole thing in the first place.
Can we not go down another rabbit hole?
I'm just going off the statements you made.
Also,
I agree on this one, Will.
This may be a good time to go into the Q&A. Any last thoughts, everybody?
Are we doing closing statements?
Yeah, I have a couple of last thoughts. Yeah.
Short and pithy. Woke.
Like. Actually, just to what Tree was saying about basically the, where she wants to hear people say whatever's on their mind, exposed to the sunlight stuff, like marketplace of ideas and type shit. That's all, all those analogies are fun and nice, but they're horseshit, because, like, that's the best ideas just don't rise to the top just because people talk about them. That's just not how the world works. The ideas that rise to the top are the ones that convince the most people, and the most people can be convinced by the dumbest shit and make the worst decisions they possibly could and run everything into the ground. How it exactly works, I don't know, but like, I think simply we can draw a line somewhere, especially when it's like things that people say that, hey, themselves do make other people not want to participate at all, and limits their speech as well. And we agree, I don't know if a few people even agree that Alex Jones, for example, should be like being be able to be sued, right, for defamation. I think it's fine,
yes,
but you would say it's a violation of...
Anyone can sue anybody, sure, I have no problem with that, but I don't think...
Yeah, but then you agree that there are consequences for speech sometimes, right? There should be no consequences if you have free
Alex
speech.
Jones shouldn't have been deplatformed.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been deplatformed. We don't live in a country... Yeah, we don't live in a country
He should not have been
yeah, I agree with that.
deplatformed.
And I really don't like Alex Jones. I think he's a
I think
crazy
that being sued for millions of dollars is kind of worse than losing your YouTube account, to be honest, for a person.
I think Alex Jones would rather have his YouTube, his Facebook, his Twitter, all his social media platforms and still be able to get sued.
Yeah.
The problem is you want to do life ruination by deplatforming him and then taking on the credit card companies and doing exchange. Well, what?
No, again, the point is, deplatforming is like a consequence that some people say is a good consequence for bad speech in their opinion, right? Well, defamation lawsuits are also a consequence of speech. If you are a free speech absolutist, like I think you guys are,
I'm not.
You are against defamation. No, you're not.
No one here is a free speech absolutist.
I'm not sitting here arguing from free speech, and I told you that you can get sued.
enough.
I don't want him deplatformed.
Yeah.
That's my argument is I don't want people to platform because it makes you, it hurts your feelings, whatever Alex Jones said.
Oh, I don't care about the feelings either.
Yes.
Okay.
No, you're misunderstanding my position. If I was a free speech absolutist, I would say that you know, you can dox someone and that's part of your free speech. You can say go kill those people, go shoot up that school, and that's okay.
Yeah,
That's free speech.
exactly.
I don't believe that. The difference is I don't think that he has met the criteria in order to be deplatformed. I don't think he's anywhere close.
I
to
do.
that. Okay.
I think it falls under that. That's kind of my point. That's what I'm kind of in that similar thing where it's like, okay, so in my opinion, free speech absolutist doesn't mean like literally allow everything. I think it would mean to abide by what free speech is legally to the most that you could, as accurately as you could. And there are certain things that are not covered by free speech, and criminal organizations are not one of them. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you guys are ready to make closing statements.
Let me say something
I
in
was
reference
trying to.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Wolf. Did you finish? Did you finish saying what you had to say?
It doesn't matter anyways. Go ahead.
So,
Okay.
when you say you want these people to platform for their ideas, I like competition. I like when two people with opposing ideas go against each other, as long as it doesn't go against the law. All right. And people who have rhetoric that would possibly cause me some problems, I want to know their existence. And if they're on YouTube, it's easy for me to find such individuals. Once upon a time, YouTube used to be the Wild Wild West. And I don't understand how, if we were able to survive it back then, what's the problem now? It's just the advertisement. If you really want to, it's not about, well, this is problematic or whatever. It's just that advertisement. But like I said, the selective biasness here, the biases here, where you can allow black men to challenge and to threaten to kill other black men, that's just wrong. And also, with Andrew Tate, the reason why I would like him to stay on the platform is because a lot of people were making videos challenging his dog shit take. Now that he's off, we're not gonna, I'm not saying, and please don't think whoever's watching this, don't think I'm saying this because I want people to make content so they can get monetization. Absolutely not. I just like when people have their ideas challenged and not stay in this comfy place where you don't say something because it just triggers you.
Yeah. Real quick.
I just because I was looking for closing thoughts earlier.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No, go ahead.
Otherwise.
I have closing thoughts.
Yeah.
I have closing thoughts. I have a closing statement. So, I definitely think that we should support free speech and we should platform people on the basis of free speech. However, I don't believe people who do business with the mafia, such as Andrew Tate, should be platformed because free speech does not protect certain illegal speeches, and that being one of them, such as defamation, fraud, child porn, things like that. And if you have the means to start a business or pay a bribe, you have the means to move. And I believe Andrew Tate completely had the means to do so. He did not need to meet with the mafia. It wasn't life or death. And my issue really is not his free speech, but the criminal activities. And I believe that blood is, in fact, on his hands. And he's shaping a lot of the minds of the current generation. I really don't think that that's good to tell them, yeah, do business with the mafia. And he's a professional bullshitter. He's been caught lying before, like how he said he has 20 guards on his property. And then there's video of you going to the property and there's literally one guard. I can provide the source for that. But yeah, I think he's a terrible influence. I think that he does criminal behavior and that's not protected by free speech. I 100% support free speech, but it does have legal limitations, which we already have.
Okay, well, can I make my closing statement, please?
Sure.
Andrew Tate has been convicted of a grand total of 0 crimes. 0 crimes. Everything you said is conjecture based on your opinion, based on clips that you saw. And it's a very slippery slope if we start deplatforming people for crimes that have not been proven. That's a very, very slippery slope that I don't want to go down. And as a content creator, you should be against this because it can literally happen to any one of us. Any one of us could be accused tomorrow of some shit that's not proven, and then we just get deplatformed from that. In 2017, I was deplatformed from Facebook because of a slander article from Vice that was based on 0 facts, and that sucked. And if it happens to you as well, I think you will understand how much it sucks to be deplatformed for things that you know are blatantly not true when there's 0 evidence and you haven't been convicted of everything. If he gets convicted of of a crime, I'm going to be on your side if it's a serious crime and deplatforming. He's been convicted of 0 crimes. And in this country, we have a tradition of innocent until proven guilty, and that standard has not been applied to Andrew Tate.
I have been deplatformed. I've been deplatformed from Twitch, and I've been deplatformed from Twitter as well. And also, it's not based on my opinion. He literally admitted it on video. It's not my opinion.
He admitted that he had to get the okay from the mafia to start his casino. He did not admit that he's like joining the mafia or something like that.
I just don't think that's a boohoo scenario of like, oh, boohoo, he had to contribute money to the people who literally traffic and rape children and beat them so that they can beg for money.
So do you think like anyone who like gives a bribe should be deplatformed?
I think we got all of the closing thoughts in, right? Just to jump into the questions. Want to say, Tree, did you have any last ones?
No.
Okay, this one coming in from, do want to remind you folks, our guests are linked in the description, not only here at YouTube, but on the podcast. You can find all of our modern day debates on the podcast as well, available at, for example, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We put our guests there as well. So in other words, Woke's, Brittany's, Trees, and Playing with Fire's links are in the description box of the podcast too. You've already heard a good hour and a half at least. Now you have got basically a taste of them. You can try out their channels to hear more. This one coming in from Matasuki says, they can't imagine having friends they disagree with. That speaks volumes about cancel culture types. Woke, is this true?
Nonsense, because it's not about disagreement to me. As I said, there are certain things that I think are immoral to say. That's that easy. I can give you context. I also have German citizenship. I grew up there, and like straight up Nazi shit is just that. I couldn't be a friend with a Nazi, no. I'll admit that. And not with the communists either.
Well, I think lying is immoral, but I don't think someone should be deplatformed if they get caught in a lie. There's a lot of things that you and I think are immoral. We have our own values. And a lot of them probably overlap, but
depends. The severity depends. You're right. Lying, no, but like the point of like I don't know. Imagine something like some extremists, like not even a Nazi, but some anarchist or whatever would say, "Go do this to these people," or
directly inciting violence. Yeah, that's different. That's different
than. To me, it doesn't have to necessarily be absolutely direct, though. Like you can just go into that general direction where it's like these people, it is okay to target these people, you know, if you create like some image about them, like, oh, they're subhuman or whatever.
Do you think for all of you, okay, this one from Cameron Hall says, was Tate's, You're good. Let me just check. Oh. What the stream is.
James, I have to pee.
Go for it. This question, we'll get everybody else's answer before we get yours. So, thanks for leaving the camera in the room. This one coming in from Cameron Hall says, was Tate's ban as valid as Trump's ban? All of you.
I think there's a much stronger case for Trump being deplatformed. Much stronger case, but I still would not deplatform Trump. If I was, I don't think Trump deserved to be deplatformed, but I would argue there's a much stronger case for him being deplatformed than Andrew Tate.
I totally disagree. Nothing Trump has said can be anywhere close to what Andrew Tate has said, including the grab him by the pussy, because he said that you can grab him by the pussy and they'll let you. All right, but Andrew Tate has said some very foul things and vulgar things, and Trump has never said anything remotely to that. So no, Trump shouldn't have been deplatformed either, and you can't really. Andrew Tate is way worse.
I think the case for deplatforming Trump, and again, I'm not in favor of Trump being deplatformed, was the insurrection when he basically like low-key encouraged the people to do that. Which again, did he not? I don't know, but I think that's a stronger case. But that's just my opinion.
He did not say, hey, y'all, go over there and break into the Capitol. He didn't do that. You guys are revising history here. And the thing about it is that I got a long list of vile shit that Andrew Tate has said, you know what I'm saying? Including blasphemous things like saying I'm God's favorite, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we understand that Christianity is the new breath for the right. And I'm disgusted by people they're doing devilish and evil things for saying Christ is king and I love Jesus and all this other stuff that they're doing. But you cannot show me one thing that Trump has said compared to I'm gonna slap these bitches and make them get on my knees and make them get on their knees and suck my dick. I'm gonna basically have these hoes work for me and I'm gonna take 80% of their fucking money. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna fuck all these fucking hoes, but you better stay your fucking ass inside the house and you sit there and be obedient. There's nothing you can say that's gonna. Trump has never said anything remotely fucked up as any of those words by Andrew Tate.
I grabbed them by the pussy and they let me because I'm famous. I mean.
Okay, so which is worse? You can grab them by the pussy and they'll let you versus you want to submit, make these hoes submit, slap them, tell them to get on their knees and suck your dick and get the fuck out. Which one is worse?
We probably should go.
Sorry.
Just because we've got so many questions, I want to keep moving. But Brittany, they had asked originally, was Tate's ban as valid as Trump's ban?
What do they mean by valid? I think they're different. I think that Trump shouldn't have been deplatformed because he didn't do anything that really, in my opinion, incited violence or had anything to do with criminal organizations. Plus, there is a little bit of factors, a little bit of consideration there with the fact that he is the president. If you're censoring the president, that there's a conflict of interest there. It's like you can't get government information. That's like a violation of rights. So I don't think Trump should have been deplatformed on the basis of him even being a political official, because then you can't get information about that. And that's important.
Sure thing. And Mark Reed said, let's see, Cameron Hall actually did we hear your answer on that, Woke?
On what?
On was Tate's ban as valid as Trump's ban?
No. I mean, like, Tate's is a weaker case, to be honest, in comparison to Trump's. Like,
This one from Mark Reed says, playing with fire, if you are friends with Tate, you have a clear bias. Why should anyone believe you with such a clear conflict of interest?
Okay, so I think you're misunderstanding me when I say friends. I've never met Andrew Tate in real life. We have a working relationship based on the fact that his brother came on my podcast. That is the extent of our relationship. He has always been nice and respectful towards me. We've never met up. We've never gone for beers. I don't really give a shit about him that much either way. I publicly disagree with him on my platform, so I don't see any kind of public of interest. Just because I have a working relationship with someone because of a podcast thing does not mean that I'm somehow biased towards them.
You said you liked him and that he was your friend, though, so I think it's fair for them to say that.
Okay, maybe I misspoke. We've never met up in real life once. I wouldn't say we're like close friends or something like that. We have a working relationship. That's really what I was trying to get at. We have a working relationship. I've interacted with him over WhatsApp. He's always been chill and respectful towards me.
This one from.
You liked him, that's bias. But...
Hake of the Hake Report.
I like some of the things he says.
The Hake Report. Hake Report says, Woke sounds like a pearl-clutching, ban-happy liberal. And that says, how is Tate's ban worthy? And that says, playing with fire, quote-unquote, biased friend or not, is just giving logical answers. Woke, are you a pearl-clutching, ban-happy lib?
I guess, like, just because it's hate, yeah, sure.
This one from Real Men Love Blueberry Waffles.
Wait, 1 second. There's a cute guy I'm texting. Can you all like smile for the photo? I'm trying to like send him a photo.
Wait, can you show us that the guy's not underage though? Because I'm concerned this guy might be like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
We don't know if the guy's over 18. Have you asked for his ID yet? I mean, we don't know.
This one from Hate, who's definitely over 18, says, I agree. Brittany Venti, we should ban and debank Pornhub and OnlyFans. We at least agree there. You got a fan, Brittany. Hate of the Hate Report. This one coming in from Real Men Love Blueberry Waffles says, Tree, you think a man who is almost 40 years old bragging about sleeping with teenagers and that he once slept with all his employees is good for society?
Is it?
I never said that. There's nowhere in this debate where I said that at all.
Wait, is this
I've
about
never said
Trump
that.
or Tucker Carlson or Tate? Like, who's that referring to?
That was, I think it was referring to Tate. This one from Sunflower says, for both Britney and woke, the progressive left even rejects Jordan Peterson. It's no surprise young men turn to people like Andrew Tate as an alternative masculine leader. When the progressive left says that even Jordan Peterson is toxic and bigoted. I don't think, Brittany, if I understand right, you don't really have much against Jordan Peterson, but woke, do you have a beef with Jordan Peterson?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. They, like, I don't really actually care about Peterson that much. I don't dabble too much in his content, but from what I've seen, a lot of the stuff they got mad about in the last years actually clipped out of context. The things he said wasn't like crazy or anything too crazy, like or anything out of the ordinary. And yeah, I agree. The progressive left can be shoots way further, right? Like I said, my bar with what I think is acceptable, right, is way lower than what they do. They just outright ban everybody just for words alone. You know,
just for being white.
Context or
white male, that's a crime.
Excuse me.
Sexy.
Wow, I thought that was Tree. All right, this one coming in from Manasuki says, she participates in capitalism. Why is she okay with exploitation of others? She shouldn't speak on morality. What does this have to do with the topic?
Is that directed to me?
I guess.
Oh, I'm not sure who that's directed to. I mean, capitalism has its benefits. I'm definitely not a commie. But I also am against exploitation in terms of like children being raped, women being trafficked, things like that.
You got it. Wesley Tart, thanks for your support of Modern Day. I appreciate it. And all credit to the speakers who are linked in the description. Folks, if you want to hear more, you can hear more by clicking on their links at the very top of the description box. Madasuki says, oh, we got that one. Mark Reed says, Tree, don't you think that Tate saying horrible stuff and being a role model for young men is dangerous? There are people that will follow his example.
I actually specifically stated that we need to have there's a reason why these boys are following Andrew Tate, and we're not addressing that. That has to be addressed because when you get rid of Andrew Tate, which they have done, and Andrew Tate 2.0 is going to surface because you haven't taken care of the root problem, which I know the root problem. It can go from everywhere from no father in the home to just a no good father in the home. A child who has an excellent father who's active in his life will not find anybody like Andrew Tate palatable. They'll look at somebody like T.T. Fletcher or Jocko, or even though I'm not a fan of his, Joe Rogan, T.D. Jakes, who's an actual preacher, Steve Harvey. These are exceptional men who have moral fiber and actually a good role model. And they're all married, and they don't dehumanize women. They don't talk down on women. They don't vilify women. And they have children. And so we want to have the traditional home where you have a husband and a wife with children, and instead of having a hoe or these couple of 6 girls that fuck on occasion. I'm against that. But if you don't have a father in the home to teach the son the difference, you're gonna have somebody like Andrew Tate teach them that.
True. His dad abandoned him. He would leave for months at a time and cheat on his wife. So you're absolutely on the point with that, on the mark.
You got it. And this one coming in from Real Men Love Blueberry Waffle says, playing with fire, most of Tate's messages are satire. So how do you make the distinction? And if he made murder jokes and people did it being a joke doesn't matter.
I actually think it does. I think that if I make a joke saying, Like, if I make a joke about murder and some crazy motherfucker decides to go murder someone, I don't feel like that blood is on my hands. That blood is on their hands because they're a crazy motherfucker. So if we go down this precedent of like, oh, well, if one crazy motherfucker misinterprets a comedian or something they say and goes kill someone, that comedian is guilty, that's a very slippery slope. Then we can literally never say anything that's polarizing or offensive ever. And I think that's a sad world to live in. The fault lies in with that crazy motherfucker and not with the comedian who made a joke.
Bacon Love says, Brittany, do you not deny the amount of contribution that Andrew Tate brings into the brings Red Pill into the Twitch sphere? In other words, I think they're saying, do you think he has some redeeming qualities by being masculine?
Broken clock. First of all, I don't think he's masculine. I think he's very feminine. All he does is like complain about women. And
exactly. I'm with you on that one, Brittany. It's masculine because he's yelling.
You think he's feminine?
Yeah, I do, and his mannerisms too. He'll talk
Absolutely
like this. And this.
I actually believe
like this.
he's gay, actually.
Yeah,
I actually believe that.
gay.
I know y'all gonna get mad at me, but I do believe that Andrew Tate is gay. I'm a hag. I have a lot of gay friends. I can pick them out. And he gave me that Jack Murphy vibe in the beginning, and I said, oh, okay, boom.
A guy that fucks hundreds of hot girls is gay?
How do you know he fucks hundreds of hot girls? And by the way, I'm not saying he doesn't fuck girls, because gay men do fuck girls, but it's the way they fuck them.
This is the problem of speculation without evidence, is that you can come to like crazy conclusions.
Well, where's the evidence he fucked girls then? If we want to play that game, where's the because I'm actually conceding that he had sex with women, but I'm saying he's had sex with the women to actually violate them. But I don't have evidence for that, but we can play the game and show me evidence he actually had sex with girls.
There's photos of him with girls, there's a lot of photos, there's a lot of like female YouTubers.
He's actually in there? He's actually in there?
Yep. There's a lot of female influencers and stuff like that have come out and said, hey, I went out with Andrew Tate. He was
Wait, Alex. Hold on, Alex. There's actually porn.
No, not
videos
porn. Not porn. Just photos of him with girls.
If his penis inside the vajayjay.
He's not a porn star.
Oh, I didn't ask you that. Is his penis is his eggplant inside the vajayjay?
I've never seen him fuck.
So how do you know he had sex then? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to meet you halfway. I'm saying, if you're saying, well, there's no evidence that he's doing this to these women, and I'm saying, well, there's no evidence he's actually having sex with women. We don't have the evidence, but I'm actually meeting you halfway by saying, yes, he's having sex with women the way Jack Murphy had sex with his girlfriend in a very degrading, dehumanizing way, because he doesn't like women that much. Hence why he was able to pimp them out and make so much money from them. When he has a conversation with women, he yells at them, but he doesn't yell at men that he has a disagreement with. I know a gay man who has a problem with women, and therefore, since we are competition, he wants us out by giving the boys these unrealistic expectations so that they'll never get pussy and they'll look at dingling.
That's a very, very interesting theory based on zero evidence, but okay.
I think every time I give you evidence, you say it's not evidence too. But anyway, to answer the other half of the question, it was like, do I think he does more good than bad, essentially, like on Twitch and stuff? I think a broken clock is right twice a day, but just for saying a couple cool things does give you a pass for like being involved with a mafia organization and treating women the way he does, as Tria's went into, and scamming men and branding women as cattle, etc.
All things that there's zero evidence for.
We showed it throughout the stream, but you
showed
y'all
a video
feel free to rewind.
of him talking about saying how he had to get the okay from Romanian mafia. That's not the same thing, but okay.
This is coming in from Decepticons Forever. Says Tree's statements are making. Let's see. I don't understand. So I'm trying to remember. Malcolm X. Explain this to me. They say Tree's statements are making Malcolm X spin so rapidly in his grave that the energy produced could solve the renewable resource needed for 1,000 years. They're saying that you are disagreeing with Malcolm X. Tree, would you agree, or would you say that you're...
What part of Malcolm X did I just... I mean, I love when these white people want to sit up here. He's just trying to call me a coon on a download. But you got to sit up here and tell me, what did Malcolm X say that I disagree with?
You got it, and MB Khan says, do you think Andrew Tate violated the YouTube spam policy, which is against deceptive practices of making money fast, get-rich-quick schemes, etc., which is actually against YouTube TOS?
Well, he did do that. If you look on his page, he has like literally the get rich now language. It's like you can make money today, and then it's like the fucked up capitalization and poor grammar, and it's like for $49.99 today you can make money, and then it's like the whole MLM.
So does literally every single entrepreneurship or business YouTuber out there.
Again, I made the distinction earlier in the stream, but the difference between the two. So I think there's a distinction to be made, and I don't think he meets that criteria.
This one coming out from Real Men Love Blueberry Waffle says, actually we got that one. Javid Benscombe says, hi Starbucks, venti size, it's typo. Is this a meme from your channel, Brittany? What does this mean?
No, I think they're just committing cringe.
This one from Joe Schwartz says, I'm a self-loathing soy boy. Thanks to that. Duh Freak says, shout out to James. Entertaining topic for the audience. I've got to give all credit to Tree. Tree emailed me and said, James, if you meet my conditions, it couldn't be more than 4 people, for example. Tree, I won't tell you the other ones. Tree said, I want to do this topic, and so all credit to Tree. And
I also need to see a video of your penis inside a vagina, so I know you're not secretly gay. That's the other condition.
me? This one from Malia.
Whoa! Are you gay for Tate, Alex?
No, I'm straight.
Because you keep going back to it. I don't know.
I know. Maybe making one joke that totally means that I'm secretly gay for Tate.
This one
Are you?
No.
Malia.
I prefer long legs.
Do you have evidence?
Yeah, there's
pornos
of me floating around.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Well, is it Malivia? Let me know if I'm pronouncing this right. Is it Malivia or Malavia? I think it's Malavia. Freedom of speech does not apply to private enterprises, which is what Facebook and Twitter, etc. are. Don't like the consequences, then don't say inflammatory stuff.
Wrong. They always say that, but like they're also monopolies. Like, and they actually stomp out any competition, not just by like, oh, they have numbers. No, you actually just get deplatformed and removed from app stores. So that's a monopoly.
I agree. I actually agree. This is the first thing me and Brittany agree on. But yeah, I do think with the great power comes great responsibility.
You got it, and let me see if there are any last ones. I had one earlier in the chat. Forgive me. Standard question. Thank you very much. Want to say, folks, our guests, of course, are linked in the description. As I've said, we highly encourage you to check out their links and learn more about their views. And H says, if not deplatforming, what should be the solution to the cultural problem that would produce Andrew Tate 2.0? In other words, like, what's the alternative to deplatforming? Well, how about this? For the sake of argument, because I know that Tree and Playing with Fire, you guys would say, I think you're still of the position that he doesn't deserve to be banned. But let's say there is someone who does deserve to be banned, because I'm sure you draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
All 4 of you, like, what's the alternative if deplatforming isn't allowed? What's the alternative to stopping people that are maybe causing societal harm?
Well, I think healthy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh, okay. I think it's healthy discourse, and I've done that with Fresh and Fit. I publicly called them out, and a lot of their audience has come around to my point of view. Not all of them, a small percentage, but anyway. I think.
Did you call them out for the deplatforming thing where they copy strike someone?
I did actually.
Tate didn't, though, from what I know. And
yeah, he did not.
Yeah,
well, that's one of the issues I have with Tate is that he ignores all their bad qualities. So like I told you, I have some issues with him. But and actually, when I had Tristan on the podcast, I specifically asked him about that whole thing. But anyway, so I think the alternative is discourse and criticism and commentary, and I think that we should have conversations and discourse, and we should criticize bad ideas and reward good ones, not just when you silence someone, you're not proving that the stuff he says is false. You're just proving that you don't want people to hear what he says, which I think creates a separate issue, and then you have a whole bunch of copycats. So, yeah.
I agree with. Go ahead.
No, you were waiting first. You go.
I agree with what Alex stated, but also bringing shame. When I talk to women that are on our side of the fence, me and Brittany, I let them know this.
Oh, it's hard to hear you.
Oh, sorry. I let women know, like, we should bring shaming back in addition to what Alex stated. Like,
Amen.
These guys are cringe. And when you look at how angry they are because women, okay, yeah, we do have it easy, a little easier than they do. Okay, why would you be like, why would you bitch about that? Why would you cry about that? It's just so immature. And a lot of these men are insecure, and we should basically shame them for that. And that's what I'm.
And he was like crying about.
That's kind of funny.
And Tate was crying in his return video about being kink shamed. It's like, this is your guy masculinity. He's crying about you guys kink shaming him.
But
oh my god.
Well, he's far from.
Wait, can I say something real quick? You two are like saying things that are kind of the the reasons why a lot of these guys have voted for someone like Andrew Tate. You're like no different than like.
Okay, you can never stop incels from going to someone that's going to feed into their, what they call red pill rage. There's nothing, just like you're not gonna stop me for wanting to platform actual racists. People are different, you have to respect their opinions, you have to expect what they want, and just because they do not conform to your wishes does not make it bad.
I don't think we should.
I had nothing to do with what I said, but thank you.
I don't think we should shame men who are struggling to meet women or struggling with their dating life. I think that's not the solution. That's going to push them further to the extremes. I think we need to offer them better advice and better solutions. That's the solution.
Oh, I think we should kink shame though. Like, I think we should bring back certain types of shames. I know you're not done maybe like that, Tree, but I think we're allowed to have opinions and say something is cringe.
I have no problem with any kind of shaming, okay? Because people, when I told people that I'm a retired program, I got kink shame. I didn't care. See, here's the deal. I got tougher skin, and I'm tired of people like protecting these boys as if they're little girls. Like, oh, don't say that to the little boy. She's gonna get upset. I mean, it's what people say on the internet. It's gonna make these losers get an AR and go mass shoot a mall. Then that's a different problem there that has nothing to do with what people have shamed them for.
Well,
that's a mental illness.
If you're someone who's built yourself up and has a tough exterior, like someone like me, for example, then yeah, you can't really affect me by shaming me. There's been so many people who've tried to go after me, but someone who has, depression, anxiety, who struggles, who's unsure of himself, who's
Andrew Tate said depression doesn't exist.
Yeah, I fundamentally disagree with him on that. Like, I disagree with a lot of shit he says, but yeah, so depression obviously does exist. But so yeah, I think with someone like that who doesn't have a strong character, who's who has a lot of negative thoughts, I think if you're entitled to shame them if you want. I just don't think you're going to be moving to a productive solution by doing that.
Oh, so I want to answer the original question because I feel like we did get a little off topic, but I think partially a solution would be to have forgiveness as well. I find that it just seems like they just deplatform people, but then they don't give them a redemption arc. They don't give them a chance to redeem themselves or like own up to something if it was actually legitimate. In Tate's example, what he could do is maybe like make a lot of charity donations against trafficking or something like that. So
he a charity event for women and children only if Instagram tells him how many likes he had. That daggone video was a joke. I watched the entire thing. I'm like, oh, I just rolled my eyes at it.
You got it. This one coming in from Malavia. Thanks for letting me know how to pronounce it. Said freedom of speech does not. Oh, we got that one. They said Facebook and Twitter are not monopolies. Friendster, MySpace, and others all failed because of ownership issues. Namely, they mean ownership issues, meaning that the new ownership of MySpace failed to make any improvements to the platform, which allowed Facebook to take over. Friendster, the same thing before that, they say. When does it become a monopoly? Go ahead.
Oh, well, it becomes a monopoly when there's an inability to create competition. So the competition that did try to outperform these platforms were deplatformed. They weren't given websites, they weren't given apps to go on. So when there's no competition, then that's a monopoly, and it's not really even capitalism, really.
Yeah, it's crony capitalism. I actually agree with Brittany on this. There's a few tech giants who control the vast majority of public discourse, of news, of public conversation, and we don't want to be in a place where Russia is, where literally you're just being fed propaganda, you have no other alternatives. That's where that slippery road ends, is China and Russia. So yeah, I agree that,
and Ukraine.
I don't know what the news situation in Ukraine is, but sure.
I can update you, and I can show the receipts.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure there's some propaganda being spread there too. But yeah, so I think that's a very slippery slope. I think these companies do need a little bit of high level of public oversight. Because yeah, they control the vast majority of public discourse, of opinion, and if they have a bias, which they clearly do, that's not good. That's not good for society, and that's not good for us.
You got it. This one coming in from, you did read all those. Real Men Love Blueberry Waffles. We did get to all your questions, so I do want to let you know that we did. And want to say though, thank you to everybody for your questions. It has been a true pleasure. It's made the Q&A very fun. But want to say most of all, thank you to our guests. It has been a true pleasure to have you, Woke, Brittany, Tree, and Alex. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. It was a blast.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had fun. Thank you so much for doing this.
I had a good laugh.
It was a true pleasure.
Thank you for having me as well.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
Great
it.
debate.
Yeah, thank you.
Or argument.
Thank you so much. And all of our guests, folks, are linked in the description. You can hear plenty more where that came from. And stick around. I'll be back in maybe about 15, 25 seconds with updates on upcoming debates that you don't want to miss. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss them. And I'll be back in just a moment.
All right. I'm streaming on my end, so I'm going to hop off so I can read my super chats. Thank you for having me again. Bye.
Yeah, I got one too. But yeah, thanks again, James. I appreciate it. Let me know if there's any other ones.
Nice meeting everybody.
Yeah,
Nice meeting you guys. True, you're funny.
Y'all have a good one.
You know you're funny. You're hilarious. You have me laughing.
Thank you guys all.
Peace, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Yeah.